Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 51 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. This week, I'm joined by our producer, Cameron.
What's up?
Charlotte.
Hello.
And our wonderful guest, Odhran.
Hello.
This week, we're going to probably be talking a bit about Gamescom. It's kind of the big thing that's happening at the moment. We're going to be talking about the economy, everyone's favorite topic. Apparently Atomic Heart is actually coming out this year. So I'm going to have to eat crow on that one.
They keep saying that, and I don't believe it every time it comes up.
Yeah,
Even if it is one of my most anticipated titles.
But we've also been hit really hard with delays recently, so it's hard to be excited when we keep getting things delayed.
I feel like that team's just like...
I do, yeah.
That team's just going to get to December 31st and be like... Oh, all right. All right, we're going to push it out now and we'll fix it all in post.
We'll talk about it when we get to it, but yeah, I totally agree. If you are listening to the show on your podcast platform of choice, as always, we are doing this show live on Twitch. Hall of Gamers Pod is the place to find us. You can come say hi, hang out with us, talk in the chat, ask questions, shit posts, that kind of stuff. We're all for it. So yeah, come support the show, come say hi. But without any further ado, Cameron's going to transition us to Song of the Week. Take it away.
It's not just superstition, cultists and evil gods. I am a bit suspicious. This lamb's gonna kill us all. She's into new religion, new chants by the candlelight. She's got indoctrination, worship all day and night. She'll make you worship the one who waits and bring lots of pain. She'll take you to enlightenment and mess up your whole brain. And you'll never be the same. Chant on, blood sacrifice, leading the lamb to the slaughter.
Never knew living the leader Loka would suit Cold Lamb so fucking well.
I had a burst of inspiration. So yes, Cameron is correct. It is Living La Vida Loca
by Eddie Murphy. I did say Cult of the Lambs would be an excellent genre,
but no, not by Eddie Murphy. No,
and Antonio Banderas. Yes, it is. The cover is. I'll take the points.
I mean, I'm just happy Cameron knows a song for a change. So that's
I immediately listened to it. I'm like, I'm looking up Shrek 2 music now. I love Shrek 2 soundtrack. Shrek 2 soundtrack is amazing.
All right.
But if you want me to please the sacrificial lamb, it is Ricky Martin.
Yes, it is. So good job. I'm assuming everyone else got it. I've tried to make it a nice, easy one this week. I was inspired both by Cult of the Lamb as Charlotte suggested.
Have you played it yet?
I know, but I've been watching Charlotte stream for it. Got myself a villager in there and everything.
You'll play it eventually though.
Yeah, I'll get to it at some stage.
Yeah, she sent me a message last night saying, "Do you want to join my cult?" And I'm just
and
like,
you didn't even respond.
I don't want to be eating poo on stream. What do you mean?
Hey,
that's probably against some
anybody eat poo. I did not make anybody eat poo.
It's probably against some TOS.
Yeah, potentially. And also, my boss said that apparently that Livin' La Vida Loca was his go-to karaoke song, so I had to do it at some stage. So
that is a pretty good fucking karaoke song. So
it's a good one, right? Yeah. All right, yeah. So, do we want to get into the question, or we want to do the interview stuff first, Cameron?
We'll do question, then we'll do interview.
Questions.
All right, let's do questions then.
Stick to the format.
Yeah.
All right. Well, our question asker extraordinaire, unfortunately, is doing his big move this week, so he hasn't sent in a new question for us.
He is leaving.
Yep, so he's flying over from Japan back to the States. So
we could have an entire conversation about the fact that he sent his console over only for it to be sent back.
No, it didn't even leave.
It didn't even leave.
It didn't even leave the country. So what actually ended up happening is he boxed it up. He boxed up his Xbox, and it's like a limited edition one. What was the brand? I can't remember now.
I can't remember, but it was limited.
Was it
it's
a
in
Gears
one
one?
of the
Could have been.
Could have been. I'm not sure, but it's a limited edition one, so it's really special, and he's not going to let it go. Basically, he was like, I can't just
fair enough
sell it. And so he boxed it up and had taken it down to the post office, and they were like, well, it can't go by ship. you're going to have to post it by air. And then it was going to cost him more to post it by air. And he's like, nah. So we're all busy telling him, you need to put this in your carry-on. You need to find some other way. Just take all the clothes out. Just put it in your carry-on. This is all you need in your carry-on. You don't need clothes. Buy them when you get to America.
I'm pretty sure some of the suggestions are like, just leave your kid behind and just put that in the seat.
Home Alone situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just look over and like, I bought a ticket for the Xbox just to keep it safe. Kids fine and coach. Do it. Yeah, exactly. Do what I do when I have to pack my backpack. Yeah, just jam as much of it in as possible.
100%.
I mean, that's what I do with my Series X. I put it in my backpack.
Get a Series S. You won't notice like the space.
True.
It'd be 100% better. Anyway.
So, question for this week, Cameron. So you posted something up to the community.
Yeah.
What
So
did you ask?
I was watching a podcast the other day. I thought this was a really interesting question that one of their community asked. It was, what title defines the console generation is from for Xbox? So the one you would recommend, you got a friend that he's been on PlayStation for the last 10 years and all that. He's like, all right, I want to jump onto the Xbox. What's the one that you think will define the Xbox Series generation? And what games beforehand do you think best represent their previous generations?
I kind of love this because this is actually a perfect thing for me to learn. Because I'm on a Series X. I don't really know what I would have played if I was on OG or 360 or One, because I haven't played on any of those consoles. So,
I mean, starting off, I think OG, like it's Halo Combat Evolved. Like you can't, like it started the Xbox brand.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, Odhran, because can't remember your console history, right? You've gone through a few ups and downs, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I did start with the Wii and then had to deal with the Wii U. So
right,
shovelware console.
I did see a post today. I saw it yesterday, I think, on Reddit. That was after playing the Wii U, I have definitely determined that it is one of the consoles of all time, and that's kind of I was kind of agree.
It's a console.
Yeah. It certainly had game. Yep.
It's pretty much the Switch without the dock, really, isn't it?
It was
the alpha Switch, really. So
yeah, that's true. I just did Wii bowling.
I mean, that's
real good at Wii bowling.
It was just
a classic.
It was just that console around that time where like you could get away with those kind of gimmicks. Like Kinect was.
Nintendo especially did all that.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of
they
the pioneers of that.
They had that first mover advantage, as we say in the business world, and they had 6 months of just absolute shovelware that they made millions of dollars off of, and then they were like Project Natal,
Ready Set Cook, which was a daytime cooking show here, had its own game. I always think of that as the definition of shovelware.
And then PlayStation came up with the Move controllers. And the best thing to play with that is Johann Sebastian's Joust, which is...
I had it with the Wonderbook, actually. I had a Move controller with the Wonderbook.
Wonderbook's not too bad, but... if you ever see people playing Johann Sebastian's Joust, basically the idea of the game is you don't even need a controller. You only need the controller. You don't need any screens or anything. Is that you have the Wii? The Wii. Jesus, you have the Move controller in one hand, and you're in a circle with a bunch of other people, and basically you have to, when you have to move relatively slowly, like it's like an ice cream cone. And the idea is to try and get other people to move fast, so the light changes color and they lose. So if you move it too quickly, you lose. So the idea is to try and keep it stable while also punching other people and just trying to get people in headlocks and generally just being a nuisance.
Okay.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was great. That was the greatest thing that came out of it. Someone was like, I have this really ridiculous idea for a social party game that involves physical contact and violence.
I feel like that's the kind of thing that you could make into something like a Bop It level toy though.
Sure.
Like you could do that as a $20.
I could see it.
Like, just forget the console kind of thing, yeah? You just make this solid one toy and then any massive movement. You're just doing rugby with your friends. College dorms everywhere. That's who you sell it to, yeah?
Yeah.
100%.
Well, that's what I do with the Switch. I just try and I don't even do the actual movement. I just swing it wide and it's fine.
Still got to go back and do Connect Adventures, so I've got that to look forward to. But back to the actual question.
So no opposition to the OG Halo.
In my
Well,
opinion,
Morrowind, maybe.
it's actually a good point, right? Because that was the first time that sort of Elder Scrolls had a. I mean, I'm not going to say a wide appeal because obviously it was huge on PC, but in terms of console gamers, like the fact that that game ran on an Xbox, I mean, ran is probably, but
wasn't that the one that they did some trickery with the loading screen where it, like it was a soft reboot or something?
Basically, yeah. The only way they could get that game to work was essentially every time they did put a load screen. It was a soft reboot of the hardware of the game.
Yeah.
To basically get it to run to load the new area because they just couldn't get it to work otherwise, which is just great to me. Actually, yeah, because Odhran, you bring up a good point, right? Like I think that there was a lot of stuff on the original Xbox that kind of were games that you didn't usually see on consoles because they kind of had that sort of throughput into PC because it was supposed to be the direct Xbox and it was Microsoft. Like, for example, like KOTOR is was an Xbox exclusive, and I owned that on PC. And I didn't have a PC that could run it back in the day. But when I got an Xbox, that was the first game that I bought, and it ran great, and I loved it. And it was amazing. So like for me, I think like Knights of the Old Republic might be the one that sort of sticks out for me. Although Halo is probably the correct answer because it's the thing that sort of
my brain instantly thinks Halo.
Yeah.
If you say Xbox to me, I would instantly think Halo.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think Halo is probably the correct answer.
Which
but
is
personally,
it's such a shame that Microsoft's like taking good old boy Master Chief behind the shed and just giving him the shotgun.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. And then I suppose for the 360 generation,
so
Halo 3, really, isn't it? Then
that's the thing, right? I was about to say, it's like Halo 3 is the one that just jumps out at me because that was like that's the formative game of my childhood, of my adolescence.
Halo 3 was the one game that made me get into the 360. There's more like multiplat stuff and all that. Like Panda says, Modern Warfare 2. Or like even Black Ops, which I would highly agree. Like COD around that time was just massive. Other than that, I can't really think of like any other than Gears, just because of how advanced Gears looks.
I mean, Gears is the game that blew me away when I first saw it, right? And to be fair, I saw it at my rich friend's house who had it on the projector. So I saw it in like the best possible, he had a fucking setup and I was like,
Jesus Christ.
My mind was just like, because I've been playing things in 480p on the PlayStation 2. And
projector for an Xbox 360. Imagine the upscale on that if you tried to play that.
Oh,
now.
Look, if I went back and looked at it now, it would probably be like Ark of the Covenant, like my face.
There's no FPS boost on that projector, I'll tell you that.
Very much not. But for 13, 14-year-old me, I was blown away. I was like, this is fucking incredible. And when you go up to a guy and you fucking chainsaw him in half, blood goes everywhere, and the guy goes, shit, yeah, and you're like, wow, okay, this is exactly what teenager me needs in my life. And then he was like, oh yeah, and then when he brought up his profile, I was like, hey, what are those achievement things? He's like, oh, I don't know, I don't care about those. And the rest is history.
Like my whole mindset back then, this is like pre-achievement hunter version of me, but like we used to just get all our consoles together, do LAN parties, and do like Black Ops, like Kindertoten on Black Ops 1. I love to like sink hours into, and then Gears of War just doing Horde mode.
Yeah, it's funny because like I had that experience, but because I'm a little bit older than you, is that like I had that experience with Halo 2, whereas like we had the original Xbox and we all land up at one of my mates' places and just had like a weekend of just fucking playing Blood Gulch and just shooting the shit out of each other in 4v4.
And here I am at that time with the GameCube.
Yeah, exactly.
Being like, why doesn't anybody else own this console?
Yeah.
I know they're not particularly big ones. Maybe one of them is, but I'm thinking obviously Dead Rising was an Xbox exclusive. That's a huge property. But alongside that, I know for a while anyways, wasn't the Mass Effect trilogy exclusive to Xbox?
Yeah, because Microsoft Studios published the original one. Yeah, so back in 2007. So that was one of the first games that I got. Well, I remember getting it for like Christmas or something that year, 2007. After I'd bought the 360 earlier that year, and was again just blown away by that. And was one of those things where like BioWare was like, hey, yeah, we did KOTOR on the original Xbox, and now on the 360 we're bringing our A game with this new space adventure, and it's fucking awesome. But yeah, Dead Rising is another really, really good shout that spanned into a huge series. I mean, it was Dead Rising 3 was a launch title for the Xbox One.
Dwaggy was posting recently about the original achievements for Dead Rising, and it's just crazy to think of a 30-day survivor.
Well, yeah, 7-day survivor, yeah.
Like, like the original had 30-day survivor instead of 7.
Jesus.
And it's just like, all right, do you want people to just be like, you know, change their console for what, like a straight week?
Well, I think that, you know, like, again, we talk a lot about achievements on the show, obviously. I think that, like, for me, Dead Rising was the formative game for achievement hunting for me. Not necessarily for Xbox, but in terms of, like, the way achievements were done. And it was like, hey, here's not just like Gears of War was like, okay, most of that list was, okay, finish the game on easy, finish it on medium, finish it on hard, play a shitload of multiplayer, just kind of standard stuff. And there's a couple of like, oh, you know, beat this boss using this or whatever. Whereas Dead Rising was like, okay, what you need to do is you need to grab an umbrella, you need to hit 20 zombies with it, and then you need to grab the gun off the back of this thing, and then you also need to do this. You also need to save this person. You need to be escorting 8 people, and they all need to be female. You need to find all of these things. You need to also, like, it was like a true, like, real variety list where it was like every achievement was something a little bit different in a way that made you play the game of not just like mainlining the story and just doing all the quests and just being done with it. And it was like, no, like, I mean, yeah, and to be fair, one of those things was, okay, get in a car and drive around and run over zombies for like 6 hours straight, which sucked. But it was like, it was a really interesting experiment early on in the 360 generation that like is ingrained in my mind as being like, it had, like, that game has a lot of problems, but like it has so much interesting stuff that they did that you just didn't see anywhere else.
Prior to that, though, devs didn't really have any idea how to code for achievements, though.
No, absolutely not. Like
Any sports style, 5 achievements and that was it.
Yeah, you could finish with like NBA 2K6 in a single match if you were lucky enough.
Wow.
And then you had on the other end of the spectrum, you have things like Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, which is like, get to number 1 on like 3 different leaderboards on the multiplayer. And it's like, I mean, I got that on my tag. Unfortunately, I'm never going to finish that game, unfortunately, because it's just insane. I like to think we've sort of hit somewhere in the middle for now. I think people now, after trophies became so big, and since PlayStation is doing so well, I really feel like that kind of, there was more of an interest there and like more buy-in from more people, so it kind of evened out a bit, and people were basically pushing them to make things a bit more reasonable. I don't know. Any more thoughts on the 360?
Nah, I think like the only other one I can really think of is Skyrim, but I think Skyrim's on pretty much everything, so I don't really think it's fair to say it justifies.
Yeah, because we're thinking about just Xbox.
Yeah. Xbox One. The generation that nearly broke Xbox.
I tell you, I know many a person that came over to the Xbox because of Rise, Son of Rome. What a classic that title was.
I love
that game's okay, right? It's very
I've never played it.
It's okay. It's got
a good story.
No, it doesn't.
Look, I liked it.
Oh my god!
All right,
it's okay. It's okay. It's as a tech demo, it's really interesting. As a game, it's okay. It looks nice, like visually.
And as for multiplayer, it's a pay to win.
Yeah, but yeah,
back in time.
A lot of it was the beginning of that, like, microtransactions. It was like that and Dead Rising 3 were the kind of launch titles for that console, right?
Dead Rising 3 and Forza Motorsport 5, which I think wasn't a bad lineup.
It's not bad. Incredibly strong.
Other than that, you had like Black Flag for third party and FIFA 14 and that. Like,
if you don't have a FIFA game on launch, are you really a console?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I got my original Xbox One with the FIFA code included. I played one match and I'm just like, I need a better game than this.
What a waste of a bundle game getting FIFA.
Yeah,
right.
I should have sold the code. In hindsight, but anyway.
People who are going to buy FIFA are going to buy FIFA. You don't need to pack it in.
Yeah. Xbox One generation, everything prior to 2015 just reminds me of the bad times. Like E3 2015 turned everything around, and I think the 2 games that I would use to get somebody to play an Xbox One would be either Sea of Thieves, just because how, like, not for me personally, but it's a massive IP. Like, to get a casual gamer in, that's probably one of the games.
Yeah, I can. If you box it in the right way, I can kind of see what you're saying. Yeah.
It depends on the person. Other than that, if they're a racing fan, Forza Horizon 4.
I think the thing is that like the Xbox One is the first console that like I didn't get, like you said, like 2015. Right? I didn't pick that console up, and obviously I'm diehard Xbox fan. I didn't pick the console up until it was bundled. I got the special edition, the Halo 5 edition.
Yeah.
And that was only because I got a really good deal on it. And even then, like Halo 5 is a fine game. It's got problems.
It's a good game. It just has a terrible story.
It's not Halo 3. Well, that's its biggest failing is it's not Halo 3.
Yeah.
It's not Halo 3.
But like thinking back on it, like when I think Xbox One, I can't really think of any games that really stand out. And part of that is because I've played more at this point. I've played more Xbox One games than I have any other console in my entire life. So there's just a lot to choose from. But it's also the time when the gates opened up and indie titles became bigger, and this is when I had a disposable income and was buying games all the time. But but this is also when Microsoft was at their weakest in terms of exclusives. They weren't putting out a lot of them. They'd lost a lot of that market share to Sony over this generation, and they weren't in a great place in terms of the console market because they were trying to push TV and everything else. So I can't really think of much that kind of
For all its faults, I think Microsoft had probably the best indie game of that generation, which was Cuphead.
Actually, yeah, that's a very, very good point.
And you take the Ori games into account, I don't think they're near the level of Cuphead, but I think they're both phenomenal in their own right as well. So, I mean, it's I hate to be the resident person, because I love indie games, but at the same time as well, if you're a big brand console and the two biggest games you can point to are Cuphead and Ori, that's a big problem.
I mean, to be fair, you do have a tradition of coming on this show and complaining about how much you hate indie games. So,
which is
we figure we might
ironic to say the least. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's exactly right. Like it's I love those games. Like I love the original Ori. I still haven't played Will of the Wisps. I need to. It's been on my backlog for a long time, and I really enjoy Cuphead.
Just not enough to complete it.
I mean, I'm not enough to complete it on expert. Let's be very clear here. But you're right? Like it's weird going from Halo and Halo again to we're not talking about Halo 5. We're not talking about Gears of War 4. What happened? I mean, well, we know what happened, right?
Well, I don't think it's solely a thing with Xbox. I mean, I know PlayStation obviously had huge exclusives, but I think that generation of gaming is kind of games were starting to be slower to make, which is obviously a limitation of new hardware and obviously new expectations for games. I mean, I think back on the 360 era, and I was mentioning it the other day, you could have a whole trilogy come out on the Xbox 360 era. I mean, even think of Halo, Halo 3 all the way to Halo 4, including Reach and ODST, were all on the 360. All the Dead Space games were on 360. All of Mass Effect was on 360. And then you compare that, you go over to the Xbox One, which has 2 Halo releases. One is a repackage of all the other games, and one is a mainline title. But to only have one mainline title in a series that is notably, even on the original Xbox, had 2 games through its life cycle is it's a huge distance. But that's not a fault of anyone alone. That's the new limitations and expectations that come with making a game. So I think maybe as consumers we expected a lot more from that generation, whereas we didn't expect the time difference that those games to make would into.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And I think that one of the other things was that consoles were kind of in a weird space, right? Where people were from the talks and you hear around that kind of time, the companies weren't sure if there was a market for consoles anymore. Because again, mobile gaming had taken off, PC gaming had kind of exploded as well. And it was okay, the reason that they wanted to make Xbox a multimedia machine was they were is this sustainable as just a console, just a gaming machine? And it turns out PS4 came out and did gangbusters, and they were all oh yeah, shit, people still do on consoles. They're still super gung-ho about it. We'll definitely make a new Xbox and a new PlayStation in 5 to 10 years.
It's funny you bring this up because I was having the deepest thought the other day of how, Xbox One generation, they obviously wanted to be multimedia. They wanted to move into TV. We had games like Quantum Break. Mm-hmm. Mentions the Halo TV show, all this kind of stuff, yeah? Mm-hmm. Microsoft is always fucking ahead of the ball. In the worst way. Because you're getting to such a stage now, how many TV shows about video game properties that are coming like out in the near future. Like ridiculous amount. Like every other week, it's like BioShock director this week, for example.
Yeah, for Netflix. Yeah.
Cuphead Season 2, I watched that with Percy last weekend, and I thought it was pretty good. Like, we live... It's weird now. Everything's just 10 years behind.
Well, yeah, because I think the problem was that it was essentially talking about... it was more on the traditional TV model at that point, right? This is before the big streaming explosion, before every studio had a streaming app and all that kind of stuff, and things were readily accessible. Now, like, the risk of being like, oh, they want to make a Halo TV show. I mean, if we ignore the one they actually did, but it's like, we can we'll put that on Paramount Plus, and it's like, yeah, well, you can just like use the Paramount Plus app on the Xbox. It doesn't have to be a multimedia machine. You don't have to plug it into your cable box or anything. Like, that's gone. We're done with that. So I think yeah, you're right. They were ahead of the curve in terms of ideas, but in terms of execution, they obviously completely fucked it.
Curious, has anybody here actually watched the Halo TV series yet?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it.
Okay, I haven't.
No, I'm watching the new Resident Evil, but not Halo.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
I watched
I
all
can't
the
say
Halo
that's going to
TV
be any
show.
better.
What did you think?
Well, me or Charlotte?
The look on both of your faces kind of just...
Probably Halo first.
Yeah, hey, what do you think of Halo, Odhran? I'm curious.
Oh, it was pure shit, to be honest, wasn't it? It was absolutely terrible. Like, I sat in, week out, and I knew it wasn't getting better. And I don't know why it was like weeks of torture watching it. It was like watching just your son be beaten in front of you. Like, it was actually just terrible. Like, there was nothing good about it. I mean, and I'm not saying this to be contrarian and to be one of those people that's like, oh, it's not the same as the games, therefore I hate it. I would have loved a new show that was like nothing to do with the games, but it was just so shit. Like, the writing was terrible, the story was terrible, the CG was terrible, bar like one or two scenes. It's like, it's a Halo TV show, and I think there was like 3 action scenes in the entire show, and it's just like
that last
then the
action
rest of
scene.
And of course, we need to remember, I might have stolen this, but Halo fans can't relate to Master Chief if he's having sex. That's not fair.
True. That's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Master Chief needs to be a virgin to be relatable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it doesn't work.
I mean, yeah, he's got to have the thing that jacks him off in the suit, right? That's canon.
That is canon, yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and read the Halo books.
That's when books have gone too far. It's just when there's no more lore that needs to be added, there's a section that just explicit detail about that.
Exactly. Not safe for work, flood. Oh God. But yeah, because I think it's interesting to see kind of like the Xbox One is kind of a weird spot because it's been around for a long time. But I can't point to a lot of stuff that says, this is the thing that made me buy the console, or the thing that like I think about when I think about the console. But I think if it is anything, it's this change into indie. It's the introduction of Game Pass stuff. It's kind of like
Yeah.
I mean, 2017 onwards was like Actually, when was the day one announcements? 2017, 2018?
2018, I think.
Because it was at least 6 months after the Game Pass launched.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
If we then move on to like Series X, like in terms of me buying the console, I didn't buy it for the games, did I?
No, right.
Game
Like
Pass.
I knew I was going to get Game Pass. I know that's ridiculous. But I didn't, right? I didn't buy the console for the games. I knew I was going to have Game Pass. I knew I was going to have friends that I could play Xbox with.
So the best game of the Series S and X generation is Game Pass. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, 100%. But Undertale was
What
the
a
first game I
cop-out.
played.
I know.
I know, ridiculous.
cop-out.
Right?
I was going to let it finish. I was going to let
The
it
best game is what we found in our friends. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
going to let her go on a
There
2-minute
was
rant.
there was no magic in the carb cap. It was
No,
inside of you all
it's
along.
just Game Pass, just straight up. Our Lord and
Best game
Savior.
of the series is a whole fucking subscription service.
But it fucking is. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah, no, it
Like-
is, yeah.
I mean, I still
you're
haven't
definitely-
paid for it yet. I've still got years free of it. So I mean, it's been
Yeah.
value for money, right?
I got an email the other day saying like your Game Pass will expire soon, and I was like, holy, like no fucking way. But then I think I've got Game Pass essentially free since 2017.
Since they
Oh,
launched it.
yeah.
Point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
See, like
it-
I'm only paying for it because I have it for my PC now. Because I like now it actually makes sense for me to have it, and I may as well have Ultimate because there's no point in me just having PC. But like, because I had so many games before, I was like, I don't really need it for a little bit, so I stopped for a couple of months, and then I got the PC, and then I'm like, oh yeah, no, I need it back. I've got to have it.
Let me put it this way, right? If I think about games for the Series X or the series that are like ones that I think of in Xbox, I don't think of Halo again.
No.
Same thing.
It's weird though, because it's gone like, you know, if somebody said Master Chief Collection for Xbox One generation, I
could see it.
Like late, I could see it. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
because it's like every Halo experience on the
It's
Xbox
all
One.
there.
Halo Infinite though, it just took a nosedive. Took such a fucking nosedive. Because to me, like Halo is like co-op experiences with buddies, you know, like, you know.
So I guess maybe it's like again, we are still early in the generation, although we aren't as early as it feels. It definitely again
We're nearly
had
3 years in, surely, are we not?
Yeah.
Oh well,
And I
2 years
suppose-
in, really. Isn't it?
COVID has ruined our perception of time.
It
definitely
has, especially with delays and with like having exclusives to Xbox and Series X. Like that's not really a thing.
Yeah, there are many that you can't play on the old generation still.
Yeah, like you still play them on the old generations because it's so much harder to get consoles at the moment, even now. Right? They can't bank on having exclusives for just the Series X. They can't, or Series S. They can't do it.
Well, that's what
They
they said they were
did,
going
they'd
to
be
do,
screwing
right?
themselves.
They were like, yeah, we're going to have the first year we'll have across both consoles, and then after that we're only going to be releasing on the new platform.
Yeah, and they
that didn't happen.
I was surprised actually. Plague Tale Requiem is a series only.
Oh, is it
Yeah,
really? I didn't
but-
know that. Okay.
They said a
I
Gamescom
think that's
last
kind
night.
of cool. I actually like that.
Going into the Gamescom stuff, it was increased from 5,000 rats to 300,000.
No.
So yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's won me over to the Series X. Oh.
It's the power. Of the
5,000
vapor
rats.
chambers.
300,000
Okay,
rats.
so I've been streaming the first Plague Tale, and it looks fucking amazing. Even though I've got the shittiest TV ever, it looks amazing on stream. Even now, like it just looks fantastic running on the Series X. So I can't wait for Requiem. It's going to be like next level. I'm like ready for it.
The trailer they showed off was like friggin' amazing. But
because I've seen the gameplay. There's a gameplay video they had back in June, and that was amazing. I was real excited after that.
I like obviously, you know, I wouldn't say we're halfway through the generation, but like it really depends when they decide they want to do the next consoles. And
I wonder if it'll be delayed because of COVID.
Probably.
Probably
Well,
will
to
be.
be
Like,
fair, if you can't find components to get
Yeah, yeah.
the current console out, the next gen console is probably
it's
not going to be.
happen.
Yeah.
But that makes me wonder if now it's like, even though we think of it being halfway through the generation, right, where it's actually not, like we're kind of like at the 1 year mark almost in terms of like previous
I hope it's delayed.
generation consoles.
Yeah, I'm with you, Odhran. I think that I don't think
I
it
don't
needs
have the
to be-
money to buy another fucking
I don't
console.
think anyone
Same.
would be ready for it anytime soon. I don't think it would be wise either.
yeah.
especially with prices going up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going back to the game question, the only one that really comes like Halo Infinite is a definite no. Forza Horizon 5, maybe.
I can see it.
I can see
If you're
it-
into racing games.
Yeah.
It's a good show. I'm not really into racing games, and I still very much like that game. It's a good showcase for the console as well.
Which is weird for me because like I loved
You
4
prefer
a whole
four,
lot
yeah.
more than 5. Perfect Dark, I'm like really interested about like seeing what they do, but it might just be hype.
At this point, it is. I mean, we haven't seen anything about it.
Didn't that dev team get completely
Santa
destroyed,
Monica one?
and then a new dev came in for Perfect Dark?
Silicon-
Nah, it was
That was a different.
No, that's because that's the one with Silicon. It was the Silicon Knights who were helping out with that or something.
No, it
or
was-
Crystal Dynamics.
I
one of
remember
the-
Crystal
hearing
Dynamics,
something
that's
about
it.
Perfect Dark and the team behind it having to go and like
oh yeah,
they changed developers at some point. Or something, wasn't
some
it?
people left and then
They
you
got
know
some
Insiders
people-
just made a whole bigger story out of it than it really was.
Like it's not actually as bad as.
But I know they got
making it
some. It was strange because they got some support from a Square Enix studio. I think it was either Silicon Knights or Crystal Dynamics.
I think it
which
was Crystal.
It was Crystal Dynamics, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like I'm very interested to see where Perfect Dark is in terms. I know a lot of people will probably say Starfield if they're Bethesda.
A lot of people are very excited for that game. The more I saw about it, the less interested I'm in it, to be honest. But
Yeah, I feel the same, but
Well-
I've never been massive for RPGs.
I kind of like. I thought it was going to be more just straight exploration, and I was kind of interested on that point. But then, as soon as they introduced the combat, I didn't realize that would be there because
Yeah.
the only thing we'd seen was that image of her sitting in the cockpit before that, right?
yeah,
Until we had like a little bit more of the gameplay, and then I was like, yeah, no,
yeah, it's going to be Skyrim in space, which is fine. There's nothing wrong.
yeah,
with
that that's fine if you want that. But I was kind of hoping for something that was a bit more exploratory, like that
Can I
would
just
interest
say-
me a hell of a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, Skyrim in space is just the Outer Worlds. Just go play that.
Exactly right, and that's kind of where I'm at. Whereas, and the Outer World
That's
seems to have
class.
a sense of humor. You know, like
Yeah.
yeah. Which I still need to play that because I
See,
drew that out of my list.
I want Starfield to be like Destiny 1. I want something. I
Yeah.
want another game that captures how I felt
Destiny
about
1
Destiny
on
1.
launch, or
I mean, like Destiny 1 on launch didn't have a story, but God, I've never had a game like with FPS that's like close to that. Like the shooting mechanics in Destiny, I've never been able to re-experience that in any other game.
But at the end of the day, that's Bungie, right? Like that's what they do. That's why the original Halos. That's why we talked about Halo 1 and 3, and we didn't talk about 4 and 5
Yeah.
or Infinite.
Anyway.
But anyway,
Yeah.
we've harped on enough about that. But thank you for the question, Cameron.
All good.
Let's well again, now that we're half an hour into the show, let's have a chat with you, Odhran.
oh god, okay.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thanks
Oh yeah,
for
welcome
joining us.
everybody to the show. That was a nice
okay,
warm up.
So what's your least favorite indie game? Let's just we'll
Oh
start with
fuck this!
Start there.
I knew there was gonna be
That's
some
so
bullshit
rude.
going on this.
You know what the great thing is too? He's been playing Midnight Fight Express this week.
I've been watching. Yes.
Yes.
It's
and
a great,
I have also
great game.
so I'm just waiting for you to tear it apart.
No, I love it.
Okay, then I'll do it for you.
No, I watched the stream. It looks like an interesting kind of game. Yeah, so
It does. I have my reservations about it, but it is a good game. I just wanted to see if you could.
You gonna rip apart a $20 game made by a solo developer, Cameron? All right, you steep
That's
that
a bit
low. I
low.
No,
wouldn't do
because
that.
I deal
Yeah.
with solo developers for most of my games, so it's fine. All right, let's get into the questions. Let's completely
Let's put them on the hot seat. Here we go.
All right.
Oh god, okay.
So I obviously we've had you on before, but it's been like a hot minute. Have we had him
It's
on?
been way too long, yeah.
For whole
since
game.
earlier
Been
in
on-
the year.
Yes, we certainly have.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have had him
The
on
last time I
holiday.
was on, Charlotte wasn't on the podcast.
Yeah.
No, that was
Yeah.
like in the first 10 episodes.
It was indeed.
Yeah.
So it's been nearly a year.
So starting off, how long have you been a gamer, and what got you into gaming? And what do you usually play?
Oh, how long? I don't even know at this stage, to be honest. I mean, I always liked games. I mean, if you want to be like technical about it, probably when I got a Wii in like 2007 or something.
Yeah.
But like, I played games before that. Like, I mean, my friends always had Xbox 360s and all that. And I remember, actually, here's a fucking funny tidbit that'll make me look as sad as anything, right? So, when I was very young, I say very young, maybe 7, 8. I consider that very young. When I was very young, I was so distraught at the fact that I didn't have an Xbox 360, because at the time that was the console to have. That was a legendary console. Everyone had one. All my friends had one. I didn't know anyone in my hometown that had PlayStation 3. Everyone had an Xbox 360, and I always wanted one because I loved Halo. I loved everything about it. And I remember at one point I got so sad that I didn't have one that I was like crying, and my dad was like,
Oh,
this was this makes me sound like such a fucking like privileged little shit. It would be fair. But when I can't remember where this came from, but we had this, one of those 8 balls that like kind of like gives you an outcome of.
Yeah.
yeah.
Edge game ball.
My dad was like, he was like, oh, let's ask the 8 ball. And it's like, will Odhran get an Xbox? And said, all answers point to no. And I was like,
I mean, how can you argue with that?
You can't,
yeah.
literally.
and even like, he was
the
like,
fates have spoken.
he was way too nice trying to console me. He should have like been like, fuck up, Odhran, like this is some dumbass shit you're crying about. But
There are
he
kids
was
in
like,
Africa that don't have food.
even him who was trying to console me was like he just was like cackling up like when that came up. But yeah, I've probably been a gamer for a lot longer than that. what games do I like to play? Anything really. If you throw something in front of me, I'll give it a go. But maybe probably comfort games are probably, I don't know, the chill experiences like Journey and all that. Omino. I love those sorts of games because
Omno's
I
so
don't want to
good.
be just fucking about and like killing people. Just give me something nice to do, like I don't know, throw my stick at some rocks or something. I don't know.
Well, Ho is now been fixed.
Yeah, true. You can play paparazzi.
Ho is lovely.
That's a good one.
Are you gonna stream it? Is the question, Charlotte? We want to see you jump again.
I'm moving swiftly on from there. I am not getting into that.
You're jumping for joy because it's been fixed, right?
What else you got, Cameron?
All right, cool. So yeah, I guess from that, like, what do you love about games?
I always really appreciated, obviously, the escapism of video games. I think they're always a great vector for just kind of exploring different worlds. I mean, I always had a bit of a vivid imagination and I loved reading when I was growing up, but I think generally the idea of, there's only one medium in the world that allows you to both see, hear, and actually experience a world that you're put into. As broken as it may be sometimes, it's well worth it when you get a game that's like one in a million. There's something just about the storytelling of a video game to be able to win you over. And I suppose what I really love about games is that it's still a growing medium. It's not as established as something like TV or film or books or anything. Like, it is quite literally maybe at most 50 years old currently. I mean, the digital side of it anyways. But being able to be in an industry, and particularly, I suppose, enjoy an industry that's still, going through the rough bumps and, figuring out where its place is in the entertainment sphere is really cool because, you get to see some of the so much more experimental sides of stuff you wouldn't see really in TV or film.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about Gaming Sandbox?
Oh, I can. I can tell you loads about Gaming Sandbox.
Tell us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank
we
you.
haven't had an
That's
update in a little bit.
Mastermind subject topic. So, Gaming Sandbox is a gaming website founded by myself, my good friend Connor Smith, back in I believe it was July last year. We got past 1 year there recently. And we pretty much it started off. I remember the last time we were on the first time I think I was on the show, or maybe it was the second time, we had just launched or we were about to launch, and I was kind of explaining that we had wanted to go for a more sort of I suppose person-driven story experience for gaming journalism. We didn't want the typical sort of, what you get from gaming websites of reworded press releases and all this sort of stuff, because we knew, first of all, that market was completely already shut off to us because we have a small team. And I say a small team, it's actually gotten smaller, and we're working on ways of making it, of adding a bit more to that, such as I'll tell a little bit about it in a second, but we wanted to add a more personalized angle to gaming journalism, which was by interviewing developers, talking about their games. If we were doing a news piece, it was going to include questions we sent to developers to add our own spin onto it, so that it was a unique read for someone who came to our website and they weren't just feeling like they were being fed a regurgitated press release. Because I think generally, and I'll go off on a little tangent here for a second, and I really hope that isn't too bad, but my main always struggle with the idea of gaming journalism, obviously again a growing field, and I am of course in no like a huge level of experience in it, but I kind of want to bridge the gap between what we would consider more analytical investigative journalism, news journalism, and the idea of entertainment journalism. And by that I mean, entertainment journalism, you're there to promote someone else, and in more investigative journalism, you're there to do a public service. But I do believe that the whole idea of regurgitating a press release never seemed, first of all, appealing as a writer, and secondly beneficial to a reader, because if they wanted to hear what a publication was bigging up about their game, they'd go to the actual publisher.
I mean, how easy is it to just type in a game's name and press kit?
Just Google search it.
Yeah,
done.
And I mean, first of all, IDGB is an absolute legendary source of press kits.
Yes.
That's where I get most. For image search and all that, that's fantastic, and I'm not knocking that service at all. People do that really, really well, and I have a lot of respect for, obviously, publishers. and community manager is Cameron.
Yeah. Thank you.
But
I mean, my official title is marketing, but yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is like we started off with a big idea of making consistent content that would look at different news and try and compete in some way. But I think we've moved away a little bit from that, and I think as I've matured with the idea of the website a little bit more, I've wanted to create pieces that are maybe not as quickly coming out, but give more of a voice to the actual people writing them. I think it's important that if you're going to a website, people might say, "Oh, how could you give this game such and such a rating?" I'm more interested in the actual individual who's written the piece and what they got out of it, because I think that brings a wholly unique experience to any website. Because there's so much angle brought on, and obviously, I think there's a level of objective fact you need to take when doing journalism. But for stuff like reviews and features and all that, it's all opinion of the writer, really. And whether someone comes out of that feeling annoyed, happy, frustrated, sad, I think that's a good thing, and I think it engages discussion in that way, as long as it's not obviously offensive in any way, shape, or form, and we've never done that. So it's difficult to be offensive in games unless you're a right out cunt. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
this is an ANZ podcast. Like that, that's very tame.
It's
That's a staple.
It's definitely part of the vernacular. Yeah.
I mean, I was the first one to spam that word and test it out. So
I mean, wait. Like the Northern Territory had a campaign. So see you in the NT.
Yeah,
I mean, like
I saw it on Reddit yesterday. Someone was talking about it, so it is still popular. Sorry, you were saying.
Well, I know I've been rambling on for ages, but I will just say Gaming Sandbox is pretty much just it's obviously a gaming publication, but it focuses more so on people-driven stories through video and written content alike. We also do live streams now. We try to have a bit of fun with games because realistically, that's what games are about. We do the odd bit of work, and I do want to say actually something big that I've been working on for a little bit, but is actually paying writers for work.
Cool.
It's not a huge amount, but I'm hoping to. Obviously, we don't publish that many posts. Any of the posts that aren't paid are just posts I write because obviously I run the thing, so it's my namesake at the end of it. But there's a thing we'll be hopefully launching at the beginning of next month, maybe the month after, depending on time, probably in October, where we'll be hoping to, as a small publication, it's not huge money, but paying people for content. We've already done that already. We've had 2 paid articles. The way it would be structured would be for reviews of upcoming games maybe that we haven't covered, or you get £15 for that article. Feature or interview piece would be £20 or anything else alongside that. It's not huge money in comparison to the big ones, but considering the small nature of our website, it's what I felt most comfortable with, because I know websites that charge less, and I'm not knocking them in any way, shape, or form, but I just thought that was a fair price for our size to kind of work with. But that's something big, and that's something I've really enjoyed working on at the moment. And there's a lot of stuff still to come with it. That I imagine if we have this conversation next year, there'll be new stuff about Gaming Sandbox, or maybe, who knows, maybe it'll be completely dead.
I mean,
but
to be fair, we might all be. So let's, who knows, right? We just... I spin the wheel every day, and it hasn't landed on nuclear winter yet. But one of these days, it'll happen.
I did probably ramble on that question, but I hope that gave
somewhat
good. Of an idea.
The only footnote I was going to say to that is every day the last 2 weeks I've woken up and I've seen a message from you just like, hey, I'm going live with Dead Space 2, or I'm going live with Halo, or I'm going with And I check it and I'm like, I wonder if he's still streaming. And I go to the Gaming Sandbox YouTube channel and it's ended hours ago.
Of course it has.
Because fuck time zones. Except for the one
time
I got
in. Are great.
Just get up early, Cameron. Come on.
Except for the Halo one that I watched, that was pretty cool.
I mean, half the time I can't catch anyone's.
No, I have become a bit of a streamaholic. I don't know if anyone else has this, but like when I discovered that I could actually stream in my new house, because I've moved again. I mean, the last time we talked, I was in Belfast. I'm now living back in Dublin. So fun for me traveling, not the world, but the country, I suppose, which is tiny. But I started streaming one day Dead Space, and I think I streamed like every day for the week, and I don't know why I did that. I just kind of just wanted to do it. I will 100% not be doing that from the future, because that's a terrible idea, but it's been really fun. I really enjoy it. I can see why people love doing it. Yeah, 100% difficult.
It's fun. It's nice to like one show off games that you like playing and like play them with others. But like it's also
Yeah.
building that community too. Like that's why I do it. So
It's
fun of
it's
people.
a very
mm.
it's a very chill experience, but there is also like you do play the game differently because you're on camera, obviously. And there's sometimes you just want to play a game. Like I've been playing a lot of the Ascent recently because I'm reviewing the new DLC for the website.
Cool.
But I've been playing that completely off stream because I just don't feel I'll play a lot more if I'm not streaming. Streaming tires me out because you're constantly focusing on a lot of different stuff.
It's also performative, right? Like it is.
Yeah.
There's an aspect to it where you are putting
There's an aspect of being a personality as well. So like
I do that very poorly. So
yeah, like depending on how you want to do it, like you do have to still pay attention to your chat and the people that you're talking to at the same time. So having to do that while gaming is often not like ideal.
Yeah, unfortunately, none of us are XQC, and we can't just run up a stream and just completely ignore the chat.
Poor Odhran, the one stream I catch, I'm just like, buddy, I can't hear.
Oh,
buddy, I can't hear.
I was muted for like an hour and a half.
Oh my god!
And I come in the last like half an hour, and I'm like, buddy, I can't hear.
Well, there's 30 minutes of usable footage there. I'm a glass half full sort of person, so
it's like when Snoop Dogg left his stream on mute for like 3 days and didn't even realize it. So good.
Never
thought I'd be compared to Snoop Dogg.
Amazing.
One of the great
the resemblance is uncanny.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll condense the last few questions to one. What has been your favorite part about writing about games? And if you had any advice for aspiring game writers, what would it be?
Yeah, so obviously you sent me on these questions before, and I feel kind of in the weird situation where I don't feel like I have the right to give anyone advice for aspiring game writers because it's still an industry I'm trying to break into. My favorite bit about writing games has been I got published on thegamer.com a couple of months ago, and that was a huge achievement for me because I'd been obviously working on writing for a while, and a huge achievement is obviously to see your words go live on anyone's website, but to get paid for that work alongside it was a huge sense of pride. And to write on a piece I really enjoyed as well. I wrote on there's an independent game developer in the south of Ireland, and I wrote pretty much about him creating independent horror with ties to Irish folklore, which is a huge thing for me because I'm obviously I'm a huge history buff in the sense that I love everything Irish history and culture because I'm obviously from here first of all, so that would be fucking obvious, wouldn't it? But the other thing as well, like I really do enjoy the small experiences that many people won't see but will be representative of like the small slice of the world I know on a bigger stage. So that was probably my favorite part about writing because it was just it probably didn't get that many views, but I mean I got paid for it. I got to speak to someone I really enjoy, and funnily enough, I've done a documentary with that person recently for the game that they were working on, and hopefully that will come out in the next few months. That's part dissertation work, so that'll be all down to permission, but hopefully that works. But that was my favorite bit about writing games. And what advice I'd give? Just pitch to websites. Just keep pitching. That's the biggest process you'll ever have to go through. Write for your own stuff for sure. Know your worth as a writer 100%. That is, you should never if you feel like you're not getting anything out of an experience, especially if you're writing for free, do not stick around. There's no point in doing that because you could be writing for other websites, making better connections at that point. Because realistically, that's one of the problems with this industry being so young is that there's a lot of exploitative nature in it. And I really think that that's something that we should be jumping to stop. Alongside that, pitch to websites is the main thing I would have for people because no big website is ever going to come looking for your work. You're going to have to go to them with an idea. And you may be surprised. You may think, I have an article idea in my head and that's shit. But I thought that when I put my article idea to the Gamer, when I did that a couple of months ago, and I thought this is never going to get picked up, but I'll send it anyways. And it did. And it was a great feeling of accomplishment and joy. So hopefully you'll get to do that in the future if you're aspiring to be a writer. But again, I've only been in this industry for like year and a half, maybe 2 years at max, so I really have no way of really telling anyone else what to do.
No,
hopefully that suffices as good answers.
No, that's great. That's fantastic answers. Yeah, thank you so much for that. All right. Well, let's crack on into the news.
Yep.
We'll keep it relatively short. But Gamescom did happen.
It's still happening.
Is happening. Yeah,
It's
technically.
still
yes.
going, yeah.
All weekend. If you want to catch me streaming for Gamescom, it's looping on Steam.
Couldn't leave the shilling till the end, could he?
No.
So yeah, we've got a fair few announcements that we'll just kind of flick through. I just want to kind of get everyone's kind of reactions to them.
Are we doing like thumbs up, thumbs down?
Yeah, sure.
I reckon.
We'll just do that.
But say it out loud.
Yeah, say it out loud because
Yeah, for the audio listeners, I
audio
listen to
listeners,
this
yeah.
podcast in
Of
audio.
course.
Yeah.
Deafening silence.
Who
for the
does a
next few minutes.
podcast in audio anyway?
Yeah, no. Right. We're all good. Podcasts can be found. Dune Awakening.
Yes, and then until MMO, no.
Exactly. Exactly. I was like, oh man, Dune, and they're like, it's a massively multiplayer online game that you have to. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm
was
probably,
like,
Yeah, I'm
I
doing with
don't
that.
do massive multiplayer.
I haven't got time for that because I love Dune, but yeah.
I don't play
I-
with other people.
I wanna say too, it's not in here because it hasn't had its like systems and all announced. Everywhere it looks absolutely trash, and I have no idea what it is still.
All right, well,
The one that they opened the night with looks absolute.
Okay.
Like
It
looks-
screams metaverse to me.
Yeah, metaverse, NFT, yeah, kind of. Yeah.
it's on the
Anyway,
on the blockchain. Yes, yeah. Open world, no. Survival, no. MMO, no. So it's that's Callisto Protocol.
Day one
Yes.
purchase.
Yes.
Sold.
Thumbs up, 100%.
Oh, good. It looks so good.
Dead Space remake will be a trashy, cash grab. This will be fucking amazing. These devs need the support.
Yeah. I
Sorry, I shouldn't say they need the support, but they deserve the support.
yeah. No, it looks fantastic, and just the more I see about it, the more I'm like, yeah, these guys know what they're doing. Yeah. Lords of the Fallen reboot.
Let's take a massive dump on SEO.
Yeah, kind of. Well, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's like, instead of Lords of the Fallen, it's now the Lords of the Fallen.
I love that they've Lords. It looks good.
It does.
The name is
For a
the problem
CG
I have.
trailer.
Yeah, sure.
yeah, I
again,
mean,
you see fuck all about the game. Right?
I like Lords of the Fallen. It's one of those games that I need to go back to.
probably okay.
Probably doesn't hold up now, but yeah.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. But like, to be fair, they did go on to make The Surge, right? And I really enjoy that game, despite its problems. And I love Soulsborne type, those Souls likes and all that sort of thing. So I'm definitely excited. But again, like Odhran said, it's an announcement trailer. We didn't see anything.
Didn't
about
we know about this for a while? The same
was
devs
talk-
as Surge the Surge, yeah.
Deck? Was it Deck 9? No. I can never remember what they are, but yeah,
I'm not
believe
too
so.
sure now.
the original Surge at least. Yeah.
Okay.
Moving up to.
Not surprised. Will be great. Love SMG. One of the best Aussie studios. Definitely will be a pickup for me. I wouldn't be surprised too if this is like Game Pass day one.
Yeah, I can see it. I quite enjoyed the first game.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, relatively inoffensive. Any thoughts, guys?
Yeah. I'll
Moving
grab
out
it.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good party. It's a good party game. I'll probably pick it up. When it hits Game Pass or when when there's a sale, or whatever. It's next year. So.
Hogwarts Legacy, everyone's favorite delayed game.
No, fuck Harry Potter, fuck J.K. Rowling. Nobody
Fair.
cares.
Yeah.
I'd still play it, but that's because I like Harry Potter. I don't like the author, so there's that.
Oh, I don't like either, so
Yeah, fair. Yes, that's fair.
We've made the
yeah.
argument before of like separating the art from the artist and that kind of stuff, but
The game itself looks pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised at how not shit it looks. I will say.
have you
I
seen
heard
the
that-
collector's editions?
Yeah, I did see the collector's edition with the floating wand and stuff, and the $500 that it's going to cost you.
$500 immediately sold out in less than 10 seconds and is already on eBay for like $850, $950, with the markup.
I don't mean to be mean. I hate me, but go outside, man. Like,
Go touch some
just
grass.
fucking, no, but like the things you could buy with that money.
But what
I
if
don't know.
That
It's
seems
not my-
ridiculously overpriced. and
what
crazy.
what if I want a book though with a floating wand? That's cool.
I mean, do you know how many? There's probably going to be eBay versions. Just wait till there's like a cheaper version.
just buy something on Etsy. Yeah,
I
cool.
was going to say,
yeah,
just wait for the
not
for the
Etsy. Etsy will be like $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
wait for the
till eBay
AliExpress
gets it.
version.
You'll be
That's-
fine.
Not
There'll
about
be like
the price
a
of the
Wish
wand.
version.
It's what you do with it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, where you put it.
New
On
Tales
the
from
bookcase, of course.
But apparently, it's going to have some exclusive quest line for the PlayStation, so I can't play that. That's
Wow.
yeah, not about that.
So exciting.
I know, right?
Sorry.
I
Yeah,
like how they
bitchy.
did all the marketing for it, and all they get is an
It's not even an
'cause,
indie game, Odhran. Come on.
Xbox
No.
has no games.
New Tales from the Borderlands. Double thumbs up from me.
It looks pretty good.
It looks great.
I was scared. I was worried for it, but apparently they got the writers from Telltale.
Right.
And they're
Yeah.
so if it's exactly, if it's more of the same as the first game, I'm happy. That's all I want.
Yep. Dying Light 2 DLC.
Didn't really look into it. Don't really care for Dying Light 2 as much as 1. Not really much else to say.
Tortuga, A Pirate's Tale. I don't know.
No, it
No,
looks bad. It
I'm-
looks janky.
I'm
yeah,
tired of
no,
pirate
that's
games.
I mean, I love pirates, but
Yeah, it doesn't.
if
look
I
great, does
haven't
it?
played Sea of Thieves, I'm not likely to play a pirate
Look,
game.
if I wanna play like a pirate level game, I would be playing like Return to Monkey Island. At this
Sure.
point.
Well, I am
I
playing
wouldn't be
it.
There
playing
are a
actual
lot of
pirate
pirate
games.
options out there. To be fair, I mean, you can go all the way.
I am waiting for
Um,
that game.
Can I say Return to Monkey Island 2 has a it was a cosmetic, and apparently you can't move it out of your inventory. Like a
Yeah,
pre-order cosmetic.
The silver horse armor, yeah.
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
I had a good laugh at that.
Kind of love that though.
You know what the funny thing about that Silver Horse Armor pre-order thing is?
What?
Most people who are playing that game now won't even know what that's a reference to. That's fucking
Todd
sick.
Howard thing from
Yeah,
Skyrim,
the
isn't
original,
it?
the Oblivion. Yeah, the original. That was the original
Oblivion.
DLC, right? Was the horse armor that cost you $5 extra for the
Yep.
game and literally did nothing. And everyone was like, "Why would anyone buy these things? This is a massive waste of money. What are they doing?" And so,
Yeah.
well, let me
boy.
tell you a little bit about something called whales. The animal, not the country.
Yeah.
Destiny 2 Lightfall.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's great.
I was kind of like, it's Destiny 2, whatever. My CPU fried this week, so unfortunately, I spent 2 days with my friend putting my computer back together and getting it working. He is the biggest fucking Destiny 2 fan there is. I am now sold on this game. Because I have just had 2 days of just getting it hammered into me. They've changed all the subclasses, they've done this, they've done that, in grapple, and I'm like, all right.
No, it sounds better than it actually is, Cameron, believe me. You don't want to dive into that. You don't want to waste your time.
It's peer pressure at its strongest. Trust me, I know.
Hmm.
Sonic Frontiers got a release date.
Same day as God of the
Sonic-
War.
Sonic has got to be the only video game protagonist that has better TV shows and movies than he does actual games.
Yeah, right.
He is the exception that proves the rule. I have no idea how this is still a thing.
It's the Sonic cycle every time. It starts up, everyone's like, actually, this looks pretty good. The trailer's looking good. This could be the return for Sonic. And then it's like, oh, hang on, this is not looking that great. Oh no,
2006.
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh no, okay, actually it's looking really buggy. And then for some reason there are a bunch of these side characters we don't give a shit about. Game comes out, it's terrible, it's panned. Everyone is like, I'm never being fooled again. And then, hey, we got a new idea. For Sonic game.
Sega just
And,
really
say,
wants
tell me
to...
more. Tell me more. You know, it's like the Sonic cycle. Somehow they just keep spinning it up every single time, and it's been that way for 20 years. Like,
Let him rest.
having said that, I probably will try this out, but we'll see because it does actually look okay. But
Yeah, I'm interested. Under the Waves.
yeah, this looks interesting. A narrative-driven adventure, which is like cool. Again, like it's the opposite of Dune. It's ticking all of my boxes. I'm like, cool, narrative, adventure game, really cool visuals. Looks kind of interesting and kind of spooky.
There was something similar that was seen before, and it wasn't FanFest, and I can't think of what name it was.
I mean, there have been a lot of games set underwater, Cameron. BioShock
Yeah.
is one of them.
It's like a water, narrative-driven exploration.
Soma.
You thinking about Behind Your Eyes?
Yeah, could be that. Yeah.
I
There
don't
was
know.
what was that one that was Narco something or other that was you were like in anyway, I don't think anyone played it, but I did.
Subnautica?
No. Subnautica also, but no, it was like a first person like horror kind
No,
of,
this was another game that was just a release trailer. I can't think of what it was called. Like, it definitely isn't out yet. It was another 2023 release, but
Gotcha. All right.
when I say it again, I'll tell you. Goat Sim 3 looks amazing.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, like, it does what it does. It does what it says on the cover, you know? Like,
Yeah. It is. Yeah,
Which is fun.
it is definitely a GOAT game. Friends versus Friends announcement.
This looks unbelievable. I love the look of this.
It does, I love the art style. I think it's got a real it's got a little bit of Happy Tree Friends in there. It's got a little bit of like Saturday morning cartoon. Like I think it looks all right. PvP shooter with cards and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like a lot of indie buzzwords thrown together, but
I mean, Neon White did fucking well. Like,
That's true.
I really want to play Neon White when it hits Xbox eventually.
That's
Hopefully. True. But I
don't
don't
really stand on that. But...
Yeah, no, don't diss the card deck PvP level stuff.
All right.
Also,
Okay,
Inscription is card deck stuff as well.
True. That's a little bit different though. Inscription is kind of a
Inscription's its own thing, really, isn't it? So.
Yeah, it's like that, and all of their games, right? The Hex and Pony Island and all that sort of
Like,
stuff.
I want to play Inscription so badly.
Yeah, me too.
Well, it's coming to PlayStation.
Yeah,
soon,
PlayStation
isn't it?
release
On 30th of August.
was
Yeah.
this week or the last week?
Well,
Well,
I
it's coming on the
watched
30th of August. So it'll be out.
Okay.
I watched Just Jake play it on PC, and it was just so much fun watching him play it.
Why would you ruin it for yourself? It's so much better when you
Well, I
have no
know
idea what's
bits
going on.
of it. Like, I don't know much of the story, but it was enough that I was like, "This is actually fantastic." I'm very I want to play it.
Yeah, it's a good game.
We'll come back to Liza P. Because I got the trailer.
Yeah. You suck at parking. I don't.
I mean, do I? I'm sorry if I do.
I certainly do.
I don't. I'm fantastic at parking, especially parallel.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in like their montage, so we don't really see much about it. We saw Atlas Fallen got an announcement. Another sort of fantasy action.
Did they have High on Life there, or have they just put the wrong trailer?
No, High on Life is the next one. So the High on Life they talked a little bit about as well. That got recently delayed, but they showed a boss fight.
The humor looks very Rick and Morty. Like I'm okay with the humor. But yeah, the gameplay that they showed off did not look good.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was kind of my worry. Is that like it looks like it'll be serviceable, but I'm not.
People play it for the humor, for the Rick and Morty kind of vibe.
I'm not a big Rick and Morty guy. Like I like some of it, but like it's not really my jam. And then the Expanse again, another Telltale one, right? So there are Telltale on Deck 9 talking about the Expanse for coming out next year. I think.
Well, it's their first game, isn't it? Since they went to liquidation last time.
Yep. So it's like because they're doing that in Tales of the Borderlands, right? So
no,
it looks like
Gearbox.
Sorry, Gearbox is doing it. Sorry, yes. So yeah, you're right. Yes, the first one since liquidation because the last one they did was last final season of Walking Dead, right?
Dead.
Which almost didn't happen.
Which they didn't even finish themselves, didn't they?
No, it was Skybound. Finished. Yeah.
I'll say this: it looks like they've learned from their mistakes, but on this other hand, I have no intention of playing it.
Yeah,
that's fair. I'm not a huge.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll come to it later on.
I don't know. I mean, like I think that hopefully it ends up on Game Pass at some stage. Like I think that'll be again. That's my answer for most of these things, right? Is that like I'll play it when it comes to Game Pass, and if it doesn't, then I probably won't play it. Yeah, it'll be good to see. I'm curious to see kind of what they do with it. I'm not the biggest Expanse fan. I've watched like the first season, and like I think it's pretty good. But
I'm interesting to see where the pricing goes because I mean Gearbox is charging $50 for the new Tales.
Yep.
But that looks like it's gonna all be like releases one. Like what's their pricing plan going to be? Is it going to be?
Are they going to do episodic? Yeah. I don't know. Considering the rough spot that Telltale was in originally.
Yeah. I feel like less and less of that's going to be like done away with now. Or if they do it, it's going to be like week. It's not going to be massive, jumps and like, all right, episode 1, now wait 3 months.
Well, it's the kind of thing that if it does turn out well, like we'll probably do a spoiler cast on or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm again bigger than my narrative games, so lots to talk about there. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Unbelievable.
I can't believe this even exists, to be honest.
I love it so much.
Came out of super left field.
I mean, this is the kind of thing that just makes me think of the Banana Splits movie.
Sure.
Like, why does this exist? I mean, it's fine, but why does this exist?
I love the balls they had to put in the trailer from the creator of Friday the 13th, the game, as if that was a good game. Like,
right.
That was so broken on launch. Like, it was, and nobody plays it now. It's like, why would you be flaunting that? I would never do that. And plus, that was like, oh, what was it? It wasn't the game after, but the game after that was followed up by all those devs who worked on like Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, and they had all of them in the front. I was like, what a fuck you to that like last trailer, but the game looks great.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, again, asymmetrical multiplayer. Like it's going to be one of those games again, using another IP from the 80s. So it doesn't. Not super surprising. But hey, hopefully they get it right this time. Yeah. Scars Above, third-person sci-fi action shooter, coming soon, quote unquote. So we don't really know much about it, but I'm intrigued. I'll probably check it out. That fits most of my boxes. Age of Empires 4 is getting a free update. No one cares about that.
Yeah. Smart ass. Right before my birthday. When they ended the showcase last night, I was just like, Stephen, like, the console announcement, it's coming. It did not come.
No, it did not. Gotham
Well,
Knights.
The Devil in Me is a day before Dio's birthday, so
I'm so excited for that.
Who cares about the Devil in Me? Certainly not us Age of Empires fans.
Gotham Knights is getting pushed by like 4 days apparently. I'm still surprised that it's coming out this year, but remains to be seen what level of quality it is.
I mean, like it's a delay.
It is another delay technically, yes. Park Beyond is also delayed apparently into next year. Warhammer 40k Dark Tide got a new trailer. Still coming out for. It looks good. It looks really good.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to play it, but it's not.
It'll be Game Pass, won't it? I'm pretty sure when it was
Oh, you might be right. Actually, yeah, I think you might be right.
I think when it was originally announced as September, it was going to be.
Well, I think because it's coming to PC in November, but I don't know if it has.
The console. Yeah. Okay, fair. So it might not be straight away then. Yeah.
Makes
sense.
A Witch's Fate. Which is a Blacktail, Witch's Fate, which is again we don't really know much about.
Yeah.
But apparently it is coming out this winter. So
anything witchy, I'm in for, but I want to know more first.
Yeah. Crossfire is doing a new big content update.
Oh yes, that's what I've been waiting for. Crossfire X with the new update.
Remedy could not save this game.
It's got 2 brand new maps, so yeah, you got
to
that
bring it back. Oh
my
god,
2 more maps than the original map
game right there. Oh
yeah.
You really got me awake now. Crossfire X. Oh, what a game.
Man, people were so excited, but they're like, "Man, Remedy's working on the single player for this. Like they're gonna do like control level story for this." Fucking nope. Dead Island 2 got re-revealed. We talked a little bit about it last week, but yeah, they showed off a gameplay trailer. It looks like
hearing really good things from people who have like tried the slice.
Okay, all right, yeah. I mean, like it doesn't look like anything.
I really hope it gets delayed. That'd be so funny.
It would be funny
after even showing a gameplay trailer. Like,
well, if it gets cancelled, that might even be funnier. But
8 years. I mean, let's
can't publish it.
Let's be honest. It probably already has been cancelled before behind closed doors, and we just haven't heard about it.
Oh yeah.
To be fair, yeah, because it's coming out February 3rd apparently. But
well, when was it announced? Because the guys on stage said they'd only been working on it for 4 years, so I imagine they actually did have to start from the ground up.
It's been rumored since 2014, I think we said, when they showed
the original game came out on the 360, to put that in perspective. So, like, they missed a whole generation.
It was 2013 and 2014, the E3, there was a vertical slice there, and people, like, the insiders that got to see it just trashed it.
Yeah. But that game has shifted so many studios, like, so...
At least 3 or 4, yeah.
I mean,
like Sumo Digital and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so it was Sumo, there was... Oh, I can't remember the other one now.
Deep Silver was doing something with it, with some other studio.
Yeah. Was it Saber?
Might have been.
Yeah. I might be mixing Fred's up with KOTOR though.
KOTOR, yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, cool. That's kind of what we know about Gamescom at the moment. Still happening, so but those are the main announcements. A few things there that we're interested in, but again,
like,
I don't know. I mean,
like Liza.
Yeah, like Liza P. All right, we can talk about Liza P. All right, come on, Cameron, what do you got?
I've moved it over to the trailer.
Okay, yeah.
So this looks fucking amazing.
It does.
This city
It's
is
Bloodborne.
falling
It's just
it's
Bloodborne.
it's Bloodborne with Pinocchio,
apart. Madness.
Yeah, basically.
and like that's all I need to know. Like I'm sold. I'm going to play this day one.
Going back.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I
you
I'll
Game
play
Pass
it.
too.
that.
yeah, exactly. So it's like
It
great.
depends
That's
on the
kind of
choice
an
you make.
easy sell. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on it, but I'll wait for you guys to crash test dummy it first.
Yeah.
Because there have been many pretenders to the Souls throne, but very few have risen to those heights. We talk about
Dolman. Dolman. What a class game. 50 quid they charge for that.
yeah, right.
Yeah, like Lies of the Pegasus is pretty amazing. Yeah, really
But I
good,
don't
so-
have a choice.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm just hyped, but
I'm definitely interested. Like I love the Souls genre. So it's definitely my radar. You know, I'll let chapters try it out first.
Oh, he will.
He
And
will.
you know that he'll find some sort of
Help me.
way around it. Did you actually have you watched his recent YouTube videos?
Yeah,
The Themisia one? I'm like, that was nuts.
it was clever. It was very good.
100% that's gonna get patched.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
alright,
Um,
gotta buy it then.
Finally.
But yeah.
And then this will be a quick story, but Microsoft, basically PlayStation is having a bit of a price hike in some areas,
Oh.
Australia included.
For like $50.
Yeah, something like that. They
Yeah,
didn't.
50
didn't
bucks
call-
Aussie. I think it was
They
like
didn't call out New Zealand, but I wouldn't be surprised if that gets pushed over here as well.
Oh, it will happen here.
wasn't
so,
it
yeah.
wasn't it all regions but the US?
No, not every single region. It was Europe, UK, Japan, China, Canada, Mexico, and Australia. Basically, that they've called out as
The
which
UK
is-
famously not in Europe.
yes, not even attached apparently, which is strange. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
They must
Floated
have-
away after Brexit.
Yeah, they cut the cord. Yeah, which you know,
Wow.
that's fine. It's what the people voted for. I'm not going to get into it.
We're gonna have one UK listener be like,
Wow.
"Wow, fuck
as,
you, man."
as tempting as it is, I'm not going to
Wow.
get into it. So yes, there's going to be a price hike. People are, quite understandably pretty fucked off about it. The euro is below the US dollar at this point.
Yeah.
Things economically are not great around the world. And so Microsoft have come out being like, yeah, no, fuck, we're not increasing their prices. What are you, crazy? So they have no plans for a similar increase to the cost of getting a hold of an Xbox
What?
Series X or S at this point.
Jez Corden put up a tweet, I think it was yesterday, saying, "Wouldn't it be funny if the Series X went up to match the PS5, but then they dropped the Series S by $50."
Yeah. That would be pretty.
I can see it. I mean, again, we're in a pretty good position in terms of we have the consoles we want.
Yeah.
I did like what's the guy's name? Hang on, I gotta find that tweet. What was it? Daniel Ahmad.
Yep.
A lot of people are criticizing Sony for raising the price of the PS5, but this is actually a good move and will save you and they're saving you money. For example, I was going to buy the PS5 for €4.99, but now I'm not going to buy a PS5 at all.
Yep.
So that's kind of where I'm at too. I was like, yeah, I might have bought a PlayStation at some stage, but not if they're
Not
going
if
to
they're
get
gonna
more
put the
expensive.
price up.
The only thing that's going to get me in the PlayStation's ecosystem is that they do day one PC.
Yeah, right.
Like do that level of subscription so I can play God of War Ragnarok and that kind of stuff, and then
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that
might
would
get
be cool.
I might get a subscription, but they'll hold it off on that for years.
They'll never offer
That's
that,
going to be
yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
They'll lose too much money on it. Again, not much to say here. Basically, just like, hey, that's kind of interesting. I'm not planning on buying any new consoles anytime soon, but yeah. And then the other news story that we have is that Atomic Heart, apparently, I'm not saying, but apparently they're still coming out in 2022, which remains to be seen.
Give
They
me a
haven't-
release date, please.
They have said late 2022. This has been the one that we did an episode of the Hall of Debaters, our Patreon show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all of us are going to want to play this. All three of us.
Yeah,
Looks
so
amazing.
where we talked a little bit about the upcoming games and what's actually still coming out in 2022, and the list is looking smaller and smaller every day.
Yeah.
But we were all convinced that there was no way this was making it into 2022, considering we'd heard nothing about it. And then they dropped this amazing fucking trailer.
The gameplay looks so fucking fun.
It looks good. It
Yeah.
looks like they were like, hey, you know that like frenetic style of the most recent Wolfenstein games?
Yeah,
Let's
I was
do-
just thinking Wolfenstein. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that, but then put like Bioshock powers in there and like weird robots and stuff. And I was like, I'm all for it. That looks amazing. So I'm very, very keen on it. It looks really ambitious. Like for a game that's coming to Game Pass from a studio of that size, being like, no, we want to do this like this thing. Like this is going to be like a thing. And, I hope it's good. I really hope it's good.
Yeah.
I have some hesitation, but if you haven't seen that trailer, check it out. It's got some amazing 80s Soviet bops in it.
That people
Can I
can see
just
on
point
stream
out
right
as well,
now.
actually, this is kind of a weird flex, but well, it's not a weird flex, but it's a flex nonetheless. A good friend of mine, Jeffrey J, actually does a good bit of the music actually in that trailer.
It's the music
yeah.
is fucking good.
Well, he's working with Mick Gordon's obviously doing the score for that game. Which absolute legend of a man to begin with. But I just thought that was really interesting when I saw it pop up on my Twitter feed there the other day, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, like the music is the bit that I was like, wow, there's some great stuff going there. So yeah, I'm very, very excited. I'm definitely gonna. This will probably be a day one for me. We just don't know when that day one is yet, but apparently it is still this year. So see if it shows up in your Christmas stocking.
Everything's gonna like release too close together, and I'm gonna be like so conflicted to what to play.
I mean, I hope it comes out in like
Forever.
December or something where we actually have time to play games, because October, like September's looking pretty quiet. October is looking insane.
If they haven't announced it yet, it's definitely not going to be September. The biggest worry I have is they're going to need enough time to market it, which I would dare say at least 6 to 8 weeks.
6 weeks, yeah.
To me, it feels like it's going to be December, and anything later than December 13th is always a bad sign. So,
Yeah.
or, like 2 weeks prior to Christmas kind of thing. But,
And that's the news. So let's go into the Game Pass stuff. Cameron, what have we got going on?
let me just bring it up. All right, so yeah, Liza P and New Sucker Parking confirmed to be coming to Game Pass. They had the headers at Gamescom, pretty much confirmed. Games that have already came out: Death Stranding, August 23rd. Red is, saying he loves it. There's so many Monster Energy drinks in the game. I can't believe it's not sponsored. It probably is sponsored. I don't know.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah, cool. Midnight Fight Express, which I'm sure me and Odhran are going to talk about, came out. Exapunks came out yesterday.
Yep.
Opus Echo of Star Song, which I hear good things about. Don't really know much about it myself. That came out yesterday. Games coming out on August 30th. Commandos 3 HD Remaster, Immortality, Immortals, Phoenix Rising, and Tinykin. Out of those 4, I definitely recommend Immortals Phoenix Rising, but Immortality got a 10 out of 10 with Edge Magazine, like I said last week. I'm very fucking keen to check it out. And Tinykin just looks like, Pikmin to me, so I will absolutely play it day one. Games that are coming out in September that I thought I'd mention as well. We have Disney Dreamlight Valley, which I'm pretty sure I am the only one excited about this here.
Literally on the planet. Yep.
I mean, this is going to be a perfect Percy game.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, you've got a kid.
Yeah.
You need the mind of a child to enjoy it. Yes.
Anyway, Tramsin World, September 6th. Outer Wilds, September 15th. The Xbox Series X version. Beacon Pines, September 22nd. Slide Rancher 2 and Early Access, September 22nd. Grounded 1.0 release, which I'm sure Matt is just dying to jump back into with me. And Moon's Cars.
Yep. The Moon Buggy Racing game, right?
Yeah, that's-
Moon's Cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
September
pretty sure that's what it
27th.
is.
Games leaving at the end of the month. There is a fucking ton. Elite Dangerous, you're not doing that. Hades, amazing. Pick it up after. Mist, 2 hours.
Buy it after, please.
Yeah. Hades is fucking amazing. Missed 2 hours, get that done. NBA 2K22. I mean, go actually play basketball. Why do you need a video game to do it? Cool. Signs and Sojourner, one of the best concepts for a game, in my opinion.
Wait, sorry. Did you say go play basketball? This is the guy who got the bundle with FIFA on his Xbox.
What? Shut up.
Cameron doesn't play sports.
Signs and Sojourner, like one of the best indie concepts I've ever seen. Using deck building to do like language and translation and all that. Pretty interesting.
If you like RNG.
RNG, yeah, that's the problem. Spiritfarer.
I'll talk about it.
Yep, not everybody's game. 12 minutes. Great gameplay, not so great ending.
Sure.
Spoilers.
Interesting concept.
2 Point Hospital. I really like the 2 Point.
It's not a
series.
hard one. Just do
Yeah.
it.
Get like Kyo got 12 minutes done. Like
Yeah,
get a
it's
few nights.
super easy. Just don't pay attention to the story and just play the game.
2 Point Hospital. Yeah, definitely recommend picking it up. Just for the fun of it. Who doesn't like those kind of sim games? Probably just anyway, cool. What Remains of Edith Finch, another short completion, 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, 100% do that one. That one's amazing.
Yep. And World War Z, which it's been on sale for like $5-10.
Yeah, they basically give it away.
I love World War
Also,
Z.
the last game that me and Odhran played together.
Oh, there you go.
Ah, cool.
And it was an absolute broken mess.
Yeah.
I tried to
About
play it.
right, yeah. I don't think it's changed.
But yeah.
All right, we'll get into what we've been playing. Cameron, do you want to go first?
Yep, so I'll quickly just mention that thank you, Matt, for helping me get Revelations done. So I've all but pretty much got all my Ubisoft stuff done now. Not much else to say other than we just carried Kirby.
Pretty
And
much.
textures didn't load in, and yeah.
Yeah, the game was a buggy mess, but, is what it is. It's an old 360 game. What do you expect?
Just messing with random's messing with us, and then being like, well, you obviously want to level up to 20 now. Let's leave you at 19. Kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Not much else to say than that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I've been doing that. I've got 4 achievements left. Me and Keo went through the hard mode stuff last night for arcade. I mean, it's just good mindless fun. Nothing much else to say. They decided to be pricks and try and quiz me on my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles knowledge, which I know nothing about the movies, so don't even at me. It's not surprising at this point. I know what the turtles' names are. I know Casey. I know April.
You know they're based on famous painters?
Yeah. Oh my. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Don't know. Interesting fact, actually, in Europe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was actually called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles because ninja was considered kind of a bad thing.
Oh, interesting.
Did you know they like pizza?
I didn't get the memo after being like
that did
revived.
translate over to the European version.
Oh, okay,
It'd be
yeah.
quite weird if they were just like had a calzone or something. That'd be the
Oh
European
my
version.
god, imagine. We really love this calzone.
It's
Yeah,
like-
Da Vinci
but-
eating a calzone. I mean, it actually sounds more fitting than a pizza, to be honest. So.
Oh my god, I'm in.
I love calzones.
That's
Calzones are amazing.
Grid Legends. I've been doing a few odd races here and there. The game is very much it's not a simulation racer at all. There's it's so bare bones, but it's beautiful. It's getting added to EA Access, I'm pretty sure, or EA Play, whatever it's called. But it's just simple career racing, nothing much else. What are you smiling at?
I'm just I just had this picture in my mind of the Sistine Chapel with Michelangelo and just the
Turtle.
and I was like, there's just a massive calzone in the middle.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
amazing.
so I'm just
Wow.
so I know what the thumbnail art's going to be for this week. So
Yeah, cool.
have fun with that.
The unholy nature of outside Europe, where they have unfolded calzone.
Yeah, exactly. Man, okay.
Just
I
a
just want to say
pizza
something about
pie.
TMNT. My favorite thing about TMNT is that someone once pointed out to me, they were like, "Man, they just ripped off Daredevil and they just thought no one would notice." And I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like Daredevil's main antagonists are the hand rather than the foot, and his teacher is called Stick as opposed to Splinter. And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's actually yeah." And basically, he just went through a bunch of stuff that all just tracked, and I was like, "Well, I mean, it was originally a comic book, right?" That was kind of more adult, and then they realized it was better for kids to sell more merchandise.
Did you hear? Sorry, this is going on tangent, but did you hear the kind of the link between those two properties?
No, I didn't.
No, so apparently, obviously, Daredevil loses eyesight because I think he ingests some chemicals into his eyes. There's sort of a working theory, or at least I think maybe one of the comic writers confirmed it, that
Is the
that
ooze?
those chemicals go into the sewer and create the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well.
It's all the same universe. It's all everything's a reference to everything else. It all ties back to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for some reason at the end.
Jojo.
Wow.
Yes, that was a JoJo's reference. Anything else, Cameron?
And Midnight Fight Express, which I've played a little bit of. the only problem with this game is like I feel like it's going to be one of those games that adds replayability, and for the sake of just having replayability, S ranks, achievements, like leveling up, then having to go back and replay levels to further level up, that kind of stuff. I'm enjoying it for like what it is, but I know that this is good. It's 40 levels, yeah. And I've played like 2 or 3 nights so far, and I'm kind of like, this doesn't feel like, a solo developer game, which is a good thing, but then does it feel too long?
Right. Do you feel like it's just stretched out?
How many hours have you put into it, Odhran?
Oh, just the hour and 20 I did on stream.
Okay, so not much. Yeah.
I was watching your stream, Odhran, about it, and you kind of mentioned that it kind of gave you, was it My Friend Pedro vibes to it?
Yeah, well, it kind of does, like with the whole drone friend companion that's kind of wacky.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then it has obviously good
S-ranking.
gameplay elements that you kind of skip through the story to get to.
Did you find that the focus was like a bit annoying sometimes? Like, I just found myself accidentally focusing quite a bit. And then I feel weird because like the gameplay slows down then, and I don't want it to when it's not intentional.
No, I clicked the right buttons, so I didn't really need to worry. Sorry.
Being good
Yeah,
at
no,
does
no,
help a
fair.
lot. I
That's
hear.
fair.
Click the
Um,
right buttons.
I know.
Maybe,
I
like,
think
once
I
or twice,
might need a
but-
remap. Like I might need it, just because I feel myself it's happening way too much. But other than that, like the humor is
There's
very
weird
much,
difficulty spikes. Weird difficulty spikes, I'll say.
humor is very much not for me. And yeah, like with the difficulty spikes too. Like the first boss is like completely easy, but when I got to that chef, what's his name?
Boyardee.
No.
That's
I
it.
think
That's
it was
only
Chef
beaten up to
Favreau.
the rat thing.
I think it was Chef Favreau.
Oh yeah, based
which-
off John Favreau.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of those kind of references in there, but like at the same time it's like, yes, I get it. You're trying to, like, I feel like you're trying to be funny and all that, but I'm not playing this to read.
It's a solo dev, right?
I know,
Like, you
I
can't
know.
expect him to be like a talented developer and be humorous. Like that's you need like at least 2 people for that. Usually,
It's also, I think it's intentionally meant to be just corny humor because it's meant to be riffing off 80s action films.
yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah,
I just don't
kinda
think it
plays it like that.
translates well to that type of, like, to this kind of game. It's like, I want to be fast, I want to smash through levels, get the best.
Well, you could just skip through all of it. Like
That's what I've
Yeah.
been doing.
Just do that.
I
Yeah,
did it.
so
I did it for
what are
like
you
2
complaining
hours,
about?
and then I'm like, all right, well, I give up on the dialogue now. But I just wanted to get all of that. That's fine.
It'd be cool if they in a future update decided to add in an element to just disable dialogue, so you could just play through the missions.
there
No
is
talking mod.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
Oh,
the
there is.
In the settings, I turned off dialogue after 2 hours because.
Yeah, but then what are you complaining about then? If you turned it
I'm
off,
just
like,
that's the main game. It's
The
not
fact that he had to do that, I think he's upset about. But I don't know
Yeah,
why.
fair.
God forbid God forbid there be accessibility options for you to actually be able to do that. I mean,
It's-
you only you would find where the dev has done exactly what you want them to do and make it that they've done something wrong for some. Like, come on, Cameron.
But
love
can't it be like disabled and I can enable the?
I love this idea of accessibility options. Like you go in there and it's like easy QTEs, infinite health, infinite stamina, no talking, and you're like that's the one for me. It's like it's like this visual novel, no talking, absolutely
Amazing.
no story.
I
Only
get the
punching.
feeling off the achievement list though. This is not going to be an achievement hunting friendly game.
Does not look that way.
Yeah, I was thinking like you could probably mess around with the difficulty settings and all that, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. But I'm very much
you don't
simple
care.
everything. Yeah.
But yeah,
1,085 for the week.
sweet. Charlotte, you got anything to?
Only thing I can really probably talk about would be probably 2 things. Well, I've been playing Cult of the Lamb, which I'm freaking loving. Which I have just switched over to the Steam version. Because I was gifted it from my friend Darkest Shadow, who basically pointed out that I couldn't actually link it to my Twitch unless I had the Steam version. So I
was
had
that
been
the
playing it
issue?
on the Xbox.
That was the issue, was it?
Yeah. So that's how we worked out that you can't actually, so you can't connect to the Xbox version of Cult of the Lamb with the streaming
Okay. Yep.
integration, which is actually very, very cool. It's a real cool system. So, slight tangent. I am going to play it on the Xbox, and I'm going to get all the achievements because I've started it, and I have got I think I've got 9 of them so far, or 13. No, I've got 13. I've got 9 on Steam. It's not hard. It's pretty simple, but I love it. Like, I just kept wanting to play it last night. I did 3 hours, and I was like, I just want to keep playing this game.
I smashed it out in a day and a half, except for the broken achievements. It's very much a 20-hour game, but it is very much a very
funny
enjoyable.
thing is, I can see myself playing this even after I've got all the achievements, because I'm playing it and not even caring about the achievements. I know that's weird. That didn't when does that happen?
It does.
When does that happen? It doesn't. But I realized something, that I actually really like my roguelite. I really like it.
Oh no! All
right,
what did I say last year? Hades was my favorite game. This year, Cult of the Lamb is in that top spot.
This is like gateway drug stuff, right? It's when you start on weed and you end up on heroin.
What other games did I like?
Right.
Undertale. What other one? Come on, let's go.
I'm going to give you a recommendation that I've given everybody this year. Is still in my top 5 list.
Dreamscaper.
Yeah, it's Dreamscaper.
It's Dreamscaper, isn't it? Yeah.
It's fucking Dreamscaper. It's such a good game though.
On my list before we get to December. I've just got another 3 months to go.
Play Dreamscaper. That's gonna define whether you enjoy roguelites or not, because that's enough of a roguelite with still a few safety bars on. I feel.
Okay, cool.
And then you can play.
I need that balance. Cult of the Lamb is just that perfect balance of that little bit of Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing, a little bit of dungeon crawler. I can go in and just do a dungeon whenever I feel like it. I can come back and see my villagers and clean up their fucking shit.
The problem with Cult of the Lamb though, it's stretching the term roguelite to the
baby.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, and I can see that. But I want to build new cult. I have 3 cults running at the moment, and I'm enjoying that. I'm this is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, but what about in the game?
I build one.
Was I indoctrinated into a cult without my consent?
No, you were not, because you're not in my cult yet.
See,
if you want to join the Cult of the Booty, you are more than welcome. There is a spot waiting for you, Cameron. I have already got 5 people in there.
Oh, the cheek of it.
I mean, the other one was
I've got
Step
all
on
the
Me Mama, so...
I've got all the booty I need. Thank you very much. It's fine.
I need to come up with a third cult name, because I've got Step on Me Mama, Cult of the Booty, and I need a third real...
Okay, I will try and come up with
something based off Paw Patrol. There we go.
No,
yiffing.
But as a game, I enjoy it. I know you found those problems with it getting a bit staggered.
It's very much a limited game. I think if
it doesn't really want you to get that many cult members, but because it can't really handle it, but it does.
I mean, I'm torn about it, because obviously, sure, they can fix the bugs and all that kind of stuff, but is the game meant to be limited to a 20-hour experience, or should it be limited to a unlimited thing? But then
I feel like there's more room to grow with it though. I would not be surprised if they build on it and actually DLC. Give it more, give it DLC, because it's in the perfect place that you could easily do that and build on this game.
But
it could be bigger, like your Stardew Valley.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever reach the roguelite common aspect of undermine Binding of Isaac.
I don't think it'll get to that stage, but I think if they're going to do it, they're going to build more on it being that management style, because that's the focus, is the management of your cult. That's the part that you're focused on. The dungeon part is just a small element that is the escape. You get to go and do a little dungeon, do a little running around killing things, and then come back and sort out your cult.
That's kind of how Stardew is, right? Except with farming. It has a dungeon element, but
it's like a satanic Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's fantastic.
I wonder if
I'm really loving it.
I wonder if Massive Monster will try and focus on making their own kind of Animal Crossing-esque.
I feel like they could easily. If they went even down the track of a satanic Animal Crossing, I'm in. I'm in. You let me kill my villagers to get them off my fucking island. I will do it. I will sacrifice those bitches in a heartbeat. The amount of times I tried to get them off my fucking island.
Can I just say, with my
you
cult,
use your glasses for fire.
I was gonna say too, with my cult, I didn't sacrifice anybody until I absolutely needed to. So I'm just
That
saying.
makes it all right then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, look, I may have made some people eat some poo,
Okay.
but like,
Tell
I
us to
didn't
the judge,
choose
Cameron.
the murder option. I know I have to choose the murder option. I know I have to for an achievement, but I have not chosen that option. I have sacrificed a couple of cultists, and a couple of them have died of natural causes. Natural quotation mark causes. And dissented and left my cult. But, practice cult. It's fine. Cult of the Booty is like, mwah, it is the perfect cult right now. Everybody's happy. No one's leaving. No one is dissenting. There's no poop anywhere. It's fantastic. And that's the one I'm using with my stream. So, I've perfected it.
It's funny that you say that because this morning I played a survival RTS where I failed the demo 3 times, killed everybody, whether it's through starvation, thirst, whatever.
You kind of need to learn, don't you?
But Cold Lamb was fine, so I'm very much in 2 words about this.
Interesting, yeah.
Anyway.
So the other game I have been playing that I'm right up to, just waiting for them to give me a patch, and then I if it's timed right, or I could nip that number 1 spot, or I could take it. Boyfriend Dungeon, I'm coming for you. I'm at that point where I am just waiting for that little patch to come out and the 3 achievements, which would be popped in literally 1 floor, 1 run of the fucking dungeon. That is all it would take to pop the last 3 achievements that are just glitched, because they're all riding on 1 recipe that you can only get when you go into the dungeon, and then making that recipe at the workbench, and then owning the outfit. So all 3 will pop literally within seconds. So whoever's going to get that number 1 first place from this DLC when the patch comes out, it'll be gone within minutes.
Good luck.
It's going
It's
to be
the
quick.
same thing as last time.
Yeah,
with Pregnant.
100%.
Yeah.
I still love this game so much. The only issue I had was that fucking bug racing game. That was the only thing that ruined it for me. And the DLC doesn't have that, and I fucking love it. I love it. I love this game so much. I want them to give me more DLC. I now own it, so it's mine, and I'm like, give me more DLC. Give me more. I don't care that it's left Game Pass. Give me more. I will play it. I love it. I love the fact that I can go and do the little dungeon, run around, and just kill shit. It's great. I like it. That's what I've been playing.
Does anybody else have issues with the fact that she said the only problem she had was the bug racing game and not Eric? No, just me?
I mean...
With Eric?
Yeah.
I mean, he is...
Fuck Eric!
No, Eric is a fucking cunt. But,
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But also, I don't want to say anything about the DLC because I'm not... Spoilers,
exactly,
no spoilers.
And I still have
But the new weapons are fantastic. And I don't know that I have a new favorite. I think so you know how you can choose your weapon at the end of the base game, and then you can do the same thing with a pivotal moment in the DLC as well. So you get another choice. And I was just like, this time around I'm going to choose pockets. I'm going to choose the cat.
All right.
So I went with the cat.
How much content does this update actually include to the game?
Quite a bit.
Is this a half game kind of?
I did it in a couple of hours. So I sat down and did it in probably 2 to 3 hours, if that.
Cool.
Like 1 new dungeon, 4 new people or something?
It depends on whether you want to read everything. So basically the achievements are extended. So whatever achievements you had before, some of them will have unlocked because you need to now get more to lock them again. Well, they'll be locked and you have to unlock them again. Other way. For getting all the recipes. And that's why at the moment I'm stuck, because there's 1 outfit that you can't get currently because it's glitched.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. There's 1 recipe you can't get, and there's 1 you can't finish the workbench. But you can get all of the weapons. You can get the dungeon complete, which is easy enough to do. And then one of the new 3 weapons is unwieldable, but you can still date them.
Oh, okay.
You just don't wield them. So the dates are slightly different. But that one is super easy, and you end up going up 2 levels if you do it in the right way. So you can go from like 1 to 6 within 3 dates, not within 6 dates like you normally would. They have introduced a new feature, which is on the main map. There'll be like 2 little mini characters, and you're like, okay, what's this? You go up to them, and they'll be having a conversation. You have to find every single one of those conversations and unlock them all.
Okay.
And that'll give you an achievement. That was the only like annoying one.
Okay.
But it wasn't that hard. Like, I had completed the dungeon before I got that achievement.
Okay.
Because the dungeons aren't hard. Like if you've played it, you know that they will literally, you'll be done within like 4 runs, 3 if you're fucking amazing. The new dungeon has 8, and then 9th floor is the boss. So.
Okay.
But the art styles are still the same, doesn't change. The storyline's still the same, no change. I like the 3 new dates better. I really like the hammer. She's amazing. You've already met Jonah. Jonah is like the best friend of your cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the whip. So there's 3 new weapons. Yeah. And the whip is the one that's the unwieldable one.
Because they couldn't get an animation for it. All right. Odhran, okay. I want to hear about your Dead Space adventures, because I watched a little bit of it.
Yes.
That amazing clip of after you do the shooting gallery, just getting eaten by the vent.
Oh, fuck me, that still annoys me. Still, like, there's about maybe 3 or 4 of the clips that I need to actually kind of put together. The plan is obviously, after doing all 3 of the games, to just have a big like compilation of the best bits. I'm waiting on Chris though, because I want to play through 3 on co-op, because there's a lot of content locked behind co-op and that, and I kind of want to. I've never played 3, so I want to experience it properly. But I've been really enjoying Dead Space. I played the first game a couple of years ago, maybe back in 2018. And that was the first time I played it, and I only ever got up to chapter 7. And I've always been one of those people that I've loved Dead Space, because I know, like, I watched loads of stuff and I know bits of lore about it and everything, and kind of one of those things. And that's always kind of be the way I've been. Like, I knew all the lore of Halo before I started playing it, so it would make sense that I'd do the same for Dead Space. But I thought I kept seeing more videos about Dead Space recently, and obviously Callisto Protocol's coming out, new game is it January? It's March next year, isn't it? So I was like, oh, I want to play the originals. And I think they still hold up remarkably well. Bar the 0G sections in Dead Space 1, they are absolutely tedious and awful and janky in every single way you can imagine, and have not aged well. But combat, dismemberment, everything about it. I had never played 2. I always knew it would be my favorite one though, and it has been my favorite one. It's quite short. It's only like 5 hours to get through on the campaign, which I'm actually happy enough with, because I hate long drawn out campaigns, and Dead Space 2 feels like it introduces something cool and then it doesn't overstay its welcome. But yeah, no, I've been playing Dead Space a lot, and I've really, really enjoyed it. Obviously I mentioned earlier I've been playing a bit of The Ascent as well, which I wrote off completely when it came out in Game Pass to begin with, and I've actually been thoroughly enjoying it. It's by no means remarkable, but it's fun. And I'm not a big looter shooter sort of person, and this game has kind of captivated me. Anyone who's ever heard me talk about Outriders knows how much I despise looter shooter games. But yeah, no, Ascent has been really good. Have I been playing anything else? Trying to think on the spot here very quickly. Obviously Midnight Fight Express, as Cameron talked about and expressed his wrong opinion on, but yeah, no, it's fun.
What, you defending an indie for once? What is this?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, I thought I'd mix it up a little bit this time. Keep you on your toes. But yeah, no, I've enjoyed a lot of stuff. I played Turbo Golf Racing with a few friends as well, and that was fun. I mean, it's by no means something I'd pick up again, but that was interesting. And yeah, I recently got into Rainbow Six Siege. I've never played it before. Couple of friends I know play it quite a bit, so they were like, oh, do you want to give it a go? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And it's actually quite good. It's quite fun. Very toxic, but once you kind of just get by that, you can kind of enjoy it a little bit. and I don't take it too seriously. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing at the moment. There's probably loads of other stuff sprinkled in there that I've forgotten about, but obviously if I don't remember them, I probably still have more of them to play yet.
Fair. Yeah, I'm glad Dead Space 2 is short because I still need to do that hardcore playthrough at some stage. With the
Hard to the core, Unreal. Yeah, I can't wait to do that at some stage.
Fuck. Yeah, I've tried it a few times, and every now and then I just get to a point where I just die, and I'm just like, man, I just lost 3 hours of my life right there. Really?
Here's a quick little life hack, obviously, because I think this is only on the console versions, but you've only 3 saves, obviously. If you save at chapter 5 and get past chapter 7, you load at chapter 7 because the original 360 game was on 2 discs.
2 discs.
So it only loads back to chapter 7 on the Series X version, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, save yourself the frustration.
Yeah, I'll have to. There's so many like points of that game though, where the game's just like, okay, now if you mess this up, you're done. Even as early as like, okay, you're hanging upside down from that train. It's like you better not miss those shots on that on the big guy because he's just gonna come and wreck you up. Love that game though. Things that I've been playing. So I have been going through my Game Pass kick. So I did the Pedestrian. So a fine little side-scrolling platformer with some interesting puzzle elements. Interesting ending as well. Did Kraken Academy. That's a game.
But Buckley Girl.
Yeah, I was like, look, it's a very wacky, interesting. I think it's Russian developed.
Yeah, I believe so.
It's
weird, and I still loved it.
It's very strange and interesting, but there's not really much game there. It is like it almost might as well be a visual novel, but it's fine. It's just fetch quests and occasional. There's like a boss fight at the end of it, and that's pretty much it. It's an interesting idea. It's just kind of strange, but I got it done in like 3 or 4 hours. I also did Kill It With Fire, which I had a great time with. If you don't know what that game is, it's on Game Pass. Basically, you are an exterminator. You've been called into a house to find spiders. So you have to lift things up and, hit things. It's like a spider crawls out from something and you're like fucking running around chasing it, trying to hit it with something.
No, thank you.
It starts with you having a clipboard and then getting like a spray can with a blowtorch in front of it to just, start firing. And it goes all the way up to you having like an assault rifle and a rocket launcher and a flamethrower and like a saw gun, and there's all kinds of different kinds of spiders, like jumping ones and ones that shoot webs.
Like my worst nightmare.
How many Spider-Man references are there?
I didn't see any Spider-Man references. I didn't read through all the stuff, but the game, okay, like again, there's no story in this game, but the thing is, like, the game progresses up and up and up. So you start in a house and like a small little apartment, and then you go into like a bigger apartment, and then you're at like a gas station. And it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually there's just too many spiders to deal with, so you basically just drop a nuke on the entire town and blow it away. It's really, really stupid, but I had a great time with it.
Okay, if they gave me the grounded accessibility option of like making them fuzzy balls.
Actually, there are, I believe, some arachnophobia options in things. So
I will potentially look into this, and because that's the only thing that puts me off. And like, I have been to a mini golf place where they only projected the images of spiders on the ground, and I was like, nah, I can't stand on the ground, and it was like on the edge of like the fucking bricks. So
I won that mini golf round, by the way, quite easily, surprisingly.
Can I play this game and just like loop 5 years from Bo Burnham over and up?
Yeah, basically.
Especially the part with everybody's a feminist until there's a spider around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's actually like, it's really stupid and fun. Like, the whole thing is that like you have like a clipboard and you have like sort of objectives to complete, and you need to find like other pieces of the clipboard to unlock new objectives. And as you unlock objectives, you get new weapons and new abilities.
I wonder
and you
if
get
people would watch
you get like a little
stream it.
Probably, actually, it's a good stream. You have like a little radar that can show you where the spiders are and stuff, and it's really kind of like really wacky and fun and that kind of stuff. Some of the challenges are a little bit difficult, but like it's like I didn't have too much trouble with it. And I like
people like seeing me in pain. Then I guess.
Yeah, true. It's only like 3 to 4 hours, so.
Okay.
I also played The Gunk.
You didn't run into the same issue as me, as jumping in the hole and never getting out?
No, I did not, thankfully. So it took me just over 4 hours to do. This game's really cool. I like it a lot. It reminds me... We were talking a little bit about Lost in Random a few weeks ago and how that reminds me of like Voodoo Vince meets Psychonauts. this reminds me of God, what was the fucking game? Beyond Good and Evil. Where it's like a relatively chill 3D platformer in a really beautiful world where there's some hidden stuff. You kind of go around doing some collectibles, scanning things, just kind of having a good time. There's some minor combat. There's there's stories relatively light. It's just mostly an exploration and puzzle and like minor puzzle solving game. Great, I really enjoyed it. Doesn't overstay its welcome. It's only like 8 chapters. Got it done in just over 4 hours. There's like a boss fight at the end. There's a couple of fights during the game, but it's like straightforward. You basically just go around with your vacuum pack, sucking up this gunk, cleaning up the place, and as soon as you clean the place up, everything becomes beautiful and bright, and the things grow, and it looks really nice. And it's got a really it's got nice sort of feedback loop to it, and it's quite cathartic. The only thing about it is that you want to make sure there's an achievement for scanning everything, and there's an achievement for building all the upgrades. You need to be really on the lookout for those materials.
There's 4 missables in total.
Yeah, right. So if you miss the materials, it can get quite difficult. So just want to keep an eye on that. There's some good guides out though. I think Welsh Hunter did a really good guide.
Can you shoot the gunk out of the cannon then?
No, you can't. Which is like, but you actually eventually you get like a plasma gun.
I wish you could. That would be amazing.
Yeah, it's never really explained how you just suck up all this gunk and where it goes.
You just suck it up.
It just suck it up and it's just gone. I'm like, all right, that's whatever. But some like fighting some of the smaller enemies like involves like sucking them up and then like shooting one at another one and that kind of stuff.
It's a bit mad, Matt.
Yeah, a little bit, right? But I'd recommend it. I think it's good, and it's on Game Pass. So I actually had a pretty good time with it. And then the last thing, so I talked a little bit about Spiritfarer last week and how it was not grabbing me. And so I played a little bit more of it and then eventually was like, you know what, maybe I'm just not going to do this because it's leaving Game Pass and I don't really have 30 hours. Turns out I do. Because I re-downloaded it the next day and smashed through it in a few days. This and Aftos says I owe him an apology. I'm not going to because he doesn't listen to the show. Because he was basically like, oh hey,
Stephen, this is your apology right here. You won't listen to it.
Yeah, this is all you're getting. He fucking said he doesn't listen to the show, so fuck him.
Yeah.
He basically says like, hey, I thought you would really enjoy this kind of game because it's more story based. And okay, yes, this is one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen in my entire life. The art style is incredible. The music is amazing. Like I love it. It's a pity I had to play it, is the problem.
See, this is like a longer cozy game, isn't it? Where you like do like 2 hours at one point, and then you put it down, and then you come back for a few days, and then you like pick it up again.
Kind of, yeah. Basically, the concept is that Charon is basically like, hey, you're the new Spiritfarer. I'm I'm out. I've done my bit. You're the new hire. You need to find yourself a boat because I'm not giving you mine, bitch. And then just goes into the Everdoor, which is like the kind of the path to the Gateway of the Dead or whatever, and says, hey, you need to go around finding all these spirits. And so the whole thing is that you go around to these different islands, sailing around, learning about these people and trying to convince them to come onto your boat. And once they come onto your boat, they reveal their true forms as some sort of fursona, because they're all animals. They're all animal people.
They're all animals.
Yeah. And they all and a lot of them relate to you, like they tend to be people from your past life, because obviously like you're in the land of the dead as well, so obviously you're dead or something, or there's a reason you're there, and so these people are related to like one of the first.
Yeah, they're like linked to you somehow.
Yeah, so like one of the people you meet is like your old neighbor. One of the person is like your best friend. One of them is your uncle. And there is a bit of a through line of the story, and each of them have their own kind of journeys. And so the idea is that you build them a house on your boat. You also have places to like build, like you need to go out and collect materials to build things and upgrade things, and then you also have places where you can process materials into other things. So like if you find ore, you find a smelter, you can turn those into ingots to build other stuff. There's like a machining room where you can make like panels, and there's like a wood cutting room to make planks out of logs and that kind of stuff. But there's so much of that in the game. That's the whole game, unfortunately. Like it's so much of like going to a location, strip mining it for everything, going and building, like looking at the list, like, okay, well, I need this many planks, so I need to cut this many trees to make this many planks, and I need to do this much, like I need to harvest this much wool or whatever. And it's just going around and building stuff and trying to make your inhabitants happy. And they'll be like, hey, I need to do this, or can you go to this place, or can you build me this, or can we go on this adventure, or can you feed me this food, and so there's a whole cooking thing. There's a whole fishing game. There's a lot of things to do, and all of them are really fucking tedious and boring, and kind of feel like they're stretched out, which is really unfortunate because like there's nothing worse than having meeting one of these characters and then going to like this interesting story about how like you learn a bit more about them, and then it usually comes into like how you guys relate to each other and what tie-in they have to you. Sometimes it's not obvious immediately. And then like going on and doing these quests, and then you get to a quest where it's like, okay, hey, I need you to go and find like this, like I need you to build like these 5 things. It's like, well, great. Now I need to go and find an island that has the stuff, go and dig all this stuff up.
Complaining about a cozy game.
It's tedious, and it's really unfortunate. Like this is a game that should be a 5 to 6 hour experience. It should not be a 30-hour game.
Shouldn't be 20.
Right? Like it should be shortened down. I get that. Having all that stuff doesn't really add anything to the game.
Yeah.
And as the game goes forward, like you unlock things to like reach new areas. So like you need to get like an icebreaker to get into an ice area. You need like a protective shell to get through a rock area, and then you need like a light to get through a mist area to explore more islands. But like the islands aren't all that interesting. The stuff is just kind of like the side quests are kind of boring, and it's like but it's like it's really beautiful, and like there's those moments where like I'm like even I got a little misty eyed towards some of the end parts where it's like, because the whole thing is that like you meet a person, you talk to them a bit, you make them happy, you feed them a food that they like, you do the missions for them, build them a house, put the things in the house that they like, and eventually they come to you and they say, hey, look, like I feel like sometimes it's like, hey, I think I feel like I've done everything I need to do. Can you take me to the Everdor, and I'm just going to move on to whatever comes next. And sometimes it's like, hey, this person has lost their faculties of understanding. Like they're they don't know where they are. They don't know who they are. They think you're someone else, and it's it's really sad. And it reminds me of things that I, like conversations that I've had with like my grandmother, for example, around like, because she had dementia, and like it was a thing where it's like trying to do the best thing for this person, and eventually it's like, you take people to this door, and it's this really nice serene moment where you're on the boat just paddling the boat towards the door, and you have like one last sort of quiet conversation with them. And then there's like a moment where you just wait, and then you go out to the middle of the door and you hug them, and then they go through the door and become a constellation in the sky that represents them. And it's really, really beautiful. And like those moments in the game are fantastic. And I just wish that there was less in the middle of it to type, because the other thing is that like you don't learn a lot about the story because you're too busy building things and doing other stuff. And it's like, I wish you had more time to talk to these characters, and it was more narrative and conversation based.
Because I do find it interesting because you've got a different opinion on the game to like say Dio, and like even with the fact that Dio had to run the game a second time because it even didn't pop, he still loved that game. Like loved that game to the point where he was talking about it constantly with me and saying how much he like loved it. Yeah,
there's so much good there, but it's just like and I don't really like management games to begin with, right?
Yeah,
I just kind of feel like it's just it's a strange mix for that kind of game where it's like obviously the narrative is such the thing that drives you forward, and it's like it feels like the gameplay is just a little bit tacked on, and they kind of felt like they had to make a game out of it, unfortunately. And then I've also worked on so I got that done. So I've got everything done before it leaves Game Pass that I want to do. So I guess we'll just wait until next week to see what else is leaving. And then I did a bunch of title updates for the stuff that came out a few weeks ago just to clean it up. And that puts me at 10,000 and something for this week. All right.
We're running
Charlotte.
We're done. We're running a bit late.
Yeah, I was going to say, do we just want to quickly go for leaderboard? We can save
And we'll
completion.
do leaderboard. The completions can wait until next week because there's not actually that many of them, so I'll compile them. Leaderboard is super fucking easy this week. because someone already almost said how much they've earned this week.
Sure.
So in third place we have Thrash Forever 3,480. In second place we have Vulgar Latin with 4,065. And in first place, guess who?
Is it
Matt.
Is it
With
me?
Neomaster. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Odhran.
no, it's
It's
Odhran.
Odhran.
Yeah, it's
It's
Odhran.
Odhran. It's
Cool.
Odhran.
It was sick.
10,980. There you go. You've
Checks
done
the
a really
leaderboard.
good week, Odhran.
Wait, last.
Thank you very much.
Super
Yeah,
impressed.
didn't even realize I did it that well. But, yeah.
Yeah, Neomaster.
cool.
There you go. Okay.
All right then. Word challenge. Someone
Wait
finally
till it'll
guessed
be
it.
waiting.
Yeah.
Right?
So I don't have a new one for this week, but somebody
yeah,
finally guessed that it was Legends of the Galactic Heroes. I chose a very funny gift for it.
Who won that?
I believe it was it Mark B?
Mark B.
Mark B got
Okay,
it.
I need to follow up on that.
So good job with him. So
Where's
he
Mark
wins us
B?
$20. Lots of good guesses, but no one guessed the weird anime from the 80s that they made a Games Winners Live RTS about that no one ever played.
Yeah, people were
including
really
me.
upset about that,
People were very upset. I told them they would be. So we'll have a new word challenge for you guys next week. So keep an eye out for that.
Cool.
We just want to wrap up the show there then?
I'll quickly go through the Patreon. So Patreon draw for August, we'll draw next week. Time and Frog Island still winning. And then quick shout out to all our patrons. Where is the list gone?
While Cameron's
I mean,
looking at
they
that,
could also just come and watch us on Twitch because there's a banner that shows all of our lovely patrons across the bottom, and we do acknowledge them every single week.
That's true.
Macau, Chapters, Nutalator, Firehawk, Mad, Lefty, G Spaceman, Admiral Awesome, Odhran, who's also here,
Oh, thank
Keo,
you.
Heavy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Prone, Cavalier 07, Old Mate Clown, Mark B, and Mick Lovett Legend. And also, hello from Sweden.
Yeah, thank you. Again, thank you all to our patrons. We are still working on new content. I've got the latest episode of Horde Debaters in editing at the moment. I'm just trying to find some good music for it. But that'll be out hopefully either this weekend or early next week.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Otherwise, if you want to come hang out with us, discord.io/Hall of Gamers is a place to come say hi to our community. We're chatting in there, talking about video games and other things. Otherwise, as always, we're on Twitch. Hall of Gamers Pod is the place to find us. Come say hi. And if you want to find us in other ways, we have an email, hallofgamerspodcast@gmail.com, and we're on Twitter @hallofgamerspod. Leave us your questions, leave us your comments, give us a review on your platform of choice. Tell your friends. Word of mouth, as always, is huge for us. Now, wrapping up the show, Cameron, show your stuff. Where can you be found?
Shadowless Edge on pretty much anything, or streaming Steam games these days now, apparently.
All right.
Failing demos multiple times over.
Charlotte, what about you?
I stream about 3 times a week at the moment on Charmandosaurus_Rex over on Twitch. I'm also on Twitter as AudreyChar, and I'm on Xbox under AudreyChar, and I do have my own Patreon as well, and I've decided I'm going to start calling it wholesome spicy content. So there's that.
There's no W on the front of that though, right?
Fuck you, bitch.
I was just gonna make a joke about like hot ones, but fuck.
That is the only time I'm commenting on that. You can get fucked. Odhran, where can we find you?
Right here, right now. I don't know what I'll be doing in an hour. Let me just get my postal code up. You can find me on Twitter @Odhran Johnson and Gaming Sandbox over on Twitter as well @Gaming Sandbox _.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Odhran, for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on. You're a fantastic guest, as always.
Great to be on.
And thank you to my wonderful co-host. Come on, guys. My wonderful,
Get it together.
my usual wonderful
good.
co-host,
Composure.
Cameron and Charlotte. And thanks to me, as always, because I'm a fantastic host. You can find me on Neomaster.
Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome. You can find me on Neomaster on pretty much everything: True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. That's going to bring us
Neomaster.
That's going to bring us to the end of episode 51. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.